And then we'll go here to the... Alright, you tell me if you can hear me. Yes, no, maybe so. Let me see. No, I guess not. Are we live? Because I'm talking, but I don't know if you guys can hear me. Oh, you can? Oh, you guys gotta be more interactive, man. Okay, good. You gotta be interactive, dude. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since I've been live. Thank you. So anyway, I guess while you guys are here, I'll explain why I randomly decided to live stream. So there's always a delay when you stream. Glad I finally understand women. Yeah, there's always a delay when you stream. Right now, because I'm in the studio and I'm looking back to the chat here. I actually probably should open the chat up in a different window somewhere. But that's why I'm gonna switch over to the actual video we'll be looking at today. So anyway, I'll explain while I got a couple of you guys here. So this lady here, Salem, I've watched her videos from time to time to kind of stay updated, so to speak, on what feminists or what left-leaning liberal people believe. She has a lot of video essays. She's pretty popular too, but I hate her takes. Well, that's not fair. I think her takes are goofy. I don't think it's best to say I hate them, but there's always some goofiness to it. And it's one of the things I've kind of realized as I've gotten older is that a lot of these feminist or anti-manosphere people, I guess maybe we could call them that at this point, or bread tubers, whatever, more left-leaning people, one thing I've come to realize is a lot of them aren't actually unintelligent people. A lot of the times they just try to make opinions that are ridiculous make sense, and they just don't. They're just stupid opinions. So I figured I may as well, because there's a really difficult way of trying to like edit a video against someone like Salem because they're so long. I figured I'll just do a live stream and then just see what happens. That'd be fun. At least this way I can shoot the shot, get my thoughts out. But yeah, unfortunately I was trying to get this thing to work about an hour ago, and it just was not it was just not going. Seeing you live is surreal. Is it? I mean, it was 10 months. It has been 10 months since whatchamacallit. I did a live stream on some conservative chick. I'm drawing a blank on her name. Yeah, Flex. Typically, it's not a very good faith conversation, and it's never women's fault. It's always men. It's the manosphere itself. So how radical manosphere content is fueling the modern day male identity crisis, which I have not watched this video at all. We will be experiencing it together, you and my few friends. So let's go ahead and let's get this party started. It's 1 o'clock. Let's go.
They are being
So you guys got to tell me if you can hear the stream, actually, because I don't know.
radicalized online. They are being radicalized by their friends through gaming, YouTube, everything. Is telling your boys to hate women, to see them as property. Their feeds are filled with rhetoric to hate women. You have to talk to your sons.
I mean, if you have a son, right? You know what I mean? All right, so you guys tell me, did you guys hear the audio? Was it a kidology stream? I was on a kidology stream a few times. It's been a few times. But you guys tell me, did you hear what just happened there when I played? If not, I have to change the source. Okay. Alright, so you heard it. It's 7 p.m. in Spain? Crazy, bro. Huh. And you over here watching my stream instead of doing anything else? I appreciate that. Okay. Alright, just continue. Alright, brother. Alright, so let's take it from the top. We'll take it from the top.
They are being radicalized online. They are being radicalized by their friends through gaming, YouTube, everything is telling your boys to hate women, to see them as property. Their feeds are filled with rhetoric to hate women. You have to talk to your sons.
Fuck women anyways, dude.
And with all that stuff that you just said, that was just womanese talk.
The number of young single men in America is at a record high.
Guys win again. And yes, we can.
No, I'm kind of disgusted by the fact that they like to use Nicholas J. Fuentes as any example of being a part of the Manosphere when he's not. He's whatever he is. I don't really care. His America First grift is disgusting to me. I hate Nick Fuentes. I'll just be honest with you guys. I find him as just a malignant force in society and a malignant force to anything that he touches. I think life is worse because Nicholas J. Fuentes engages with or interacts with anything on the internet. I think he's just radioactive and disgusting. And in fact, I would say that the fact that she wants to use Mr. Fuentes here to disparage the Manosphere is another great example as to why I hate him. He is so radioactive and disgusting. You just put him tangentially. You just put him kind of close to it, and then when we all look bad, it's like cancer. It's just terrible. I hate this nigga. I hate him with a passion. But what can you do? What can you do? Anyway, let's continue. What is going on here?
Control your bodies.
4B movement.
The 4B movement.
The 4B movement. No marrying men.
Yeah, and then I thought about making a video about the 4B movement, actually. Other people have done it, obviously, before I did. My take would have been very simple. My take would have been, you have no power here. It's like, hey guys, I'm gonna threaten you politically by not having sex with you. And then I'm just like, so zero change in game state. You already weren't. You know what I'm saying? You weren't smashing me because I had a Blue Eyes White Dragon statue on the dresser. Now you're not gonna smash me because I voted for Trump. Then, well, that didn't really change anything. It looks like we're in the same position, right? You're still over there. I'm still over here. But I also think that more philosophically, the 4B movement, even in South Korea, really, is an anti-life movement, right? It's like an anti-social, anti-society perspective that is hilariously cynical. It's more cynical than anything in the Manosphere, I would say, which is kind of fascinating to me that it could be as cynical as it is, and yet somehow we are still upset with the Manosphere. We're still talking about the Manosphere, but not women saying, I'm going to end society. It's like, what? I'm gonna do my part to end this timeline. That is ridiculous to me.
They are being radicalized.
I don't even understand that.
Salem?
Anyway, let's get back to it.
Record high.
Guys win again. And yes, we control your bodies.
4B movement.
The 4B movement.
The 4B movement. No marrying men. No giving birth. No dating men.
It's your body, my choice.
People in the world trying to give young men a false impression that they can have a reasonable facsimile of life on a screen and with an algorithm. They don't have the confidence to approach strangers for mentorship, for friendship. They're not getting jobs. If we want better men, we need to be better men.
What does that even mean? All right, I'm good. All right, well.
Hello, I'm Salem, and welcome to my commentary channel, where we take serious topics and dissect them in a not-so-serious way. Today's topic, the Manosphere, and how it be brainwashing young, impressionable, insecure boys.
You're lucky you're even talking to me, because I'm a high-value male. Yeah, I am. Okay, females don't deserve rights, it's my opinion. Does anyone in here watch entertain? This is why men's mental health is...
Why does my
Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, whatever. Like
big water bottle look like a medieval lantern? Hear ye looking at. Hello, everybody.
I'm gonna try to entertain the more meat of the arguments here. I'm gonna try my best to not be swayed by goofy ass memes.
It is me, Salem, and welcome back to my channel. How are you guys doing? I am really tired. If I sound a little weird in today's video, it's because I kind of feel like I'm getting sick. Everyone be having the flu. No one's getting sick from...
this is what Salem does, by the way. I'm gonna skip through it. For whatever reason, she always decides to do like some life update. I think perhaps this is part of the parasocial relationship building. I think I've seen a lot of female video essayists do this, where they just are like, hey, so I did a thing in my life, and you know, in the blah 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 blah, and I don't give a fuck. I don't care.
Mold. I'm never gonna
this
one where I talk about the whole Mr. B situation and how a fellow YouTuber, Rosanna Pansino, called the FBI on him. Why low-key, she actually had a point doing it, and I agree with her. Like, bro's lore really went from having mold in his flop clearance version knockoff Lunchables to having a full-fledged FBI investigation into him because people be breaking bones and having seizures behind the scenes in his game shows. Like, I can't wait for this year to end. I really can't. But you know what, guys? Even though brain rot children who are addicted to Cocomelon are getting sick, the internet,
to the point,
specifically whatever this is.
Fuck women anyways, dude.
And with all that stuff that you just said, that was just womanese talk.
So I'll stop here. So I actually tried to call in to chat with Cooley the other day, last night to be specific. He pulled me up, and then like my audio settings were messed up, so he dropped me down, and he did bring me back up again. And then he just brought on a whole bunch of people, just kind of glaze him and compliment him. It was annoying as hell. But on Wednesday, I'll try to. He has a debate show on Wednesday. I'll try to get on there on Wednesday. But yeah. I mean, I kind of, there are things I agree with the guy on, and things he also says some real goofy shit a lot of the times. But whatever, we'll get to that on Wednesday.
Guys win again. And yes, we control your bodies. It's your body, my choice.
Now, the worst part about this thing with Nick Fuentes is the fact that it's still not technically true. I say not even technically. It's not true at all. It really is, again, just an example of his malignant, cancerous effect on anything he touches. And it's like, one, the whole Trump ban thing was just never true politically to begin with. Technically speaking, when Roe v. Wade was overturned, Trump wasn't even in office. Trump never had any campaign against abortion. He just was like, well, we're going to let the states decide, as it probably always should have been, which is exactly what happened. The Kamala campaign, on the other hand, ran on abortion and ran on this propaganda. So Nick Fuentes, here's the worst part about Nick Fuentes, right? Nick Fuentes, right, was never a Trump supporter. And I technically was only 60% of a Trump supporter, only because I thought it'd be funny once he won. Well, actually, that's not true. I'm going to grant this. I actually do believe that Trump is the best option or choice we have at ending the war in Ukraine. But I'll talk about that some other time. But what's nasty about Nick Fuentes here is in two ways. One, the fact that Salem's using this nigga. I hate this nigga. I'm telling you niggas, I hate this guy. It's not just the fact that he's here now as being used as an example of being in a manosphere, but he wasn't even a Trump supporter. In fact, Nick Fuentes was on record numerous times telling people to not vote for Trump. So Trump wins, and then he switches teams, and then he says his goofy shit, and now we all have to suffer. Now we all have to clean up his nonsense, man. Now I have to come along and say this nigga legitimately is not of us. He's a shitty person. I don't care about Nick Fuentes. No one should care about Nick Fuentes, but here we are.
Nice.
I'm not gagging. I mean, I'm gagging from like
me, or are people getting a lot more bold on the internet and in real life? More specifically with the whole alpha male manosphere, sigma, beta, Roy G. Biv, like, I don't know, ABC 123 type content, because it seems like every year it's getting worse and worse.
You know, that might say something about the way that men and women relate to each other, but I don't know if we're ready for that conversation.
Now, if you guys have been watching my content for a very long time, I have actually spoken about alpha males, Andrew Tate, and what is called the manosphere, and how it can be very damaging to young men out there who clearly lack father figures, so they...
Yes, it's but not the relationships that they have with young ladies. That's not damaging. It's not getting cheated on that's damaging. No. It's memes on the internet, man. It's not going up to approach a lady you've got a crush on and then she looks at you like you're stupid and says, ugh. That's not damaging. No. It's Andrew Tate's memes. It's Nick Fuentes memes. It's the manosphere. That's the damaging part. The actual relationships that you have in real life, No, we won't talk about that. It's the Manosphere. It's the Manosphere's fault. Even though you come to the Manosphere to talk about those real life relationships. Nah. It's the Manosphere. It's not the actual relationships you have. No. It's Andrew Tate. And this is the problem. This is what I can't stand about this. I understand, and I think it's fair, and even I do criticize like some of the alpha male guru nonsense from time to time. I probably should do more of it. I find their morality distasteful. I just don't find the facts wrong. I think that when you are a quote-unquote high-value male, or when you are a popular, attractive, or handsome male, you're able to date women, you're able to mistreat women, and they just eat that. They just take it. That's just what it is. You know, the problem is morality and character. But the fact that these people are here to discuss these issues all stem from the fact that they've had issues. You know, it's not like now if you want to argue that there's some stolen valor of like some dudes are like, I'm never getting married because like they read a horror story of a dude's wife cheating on him and taking all of his stuff. I mean, sure, right? Like that's a discussion to be had, but that's a discussion to be had. Like you're not here in the Manosphere, right? Only because you've only ever seen Manosphere content, right? You're here because you've had relationships with women, and they've been craptastic, and they suck, they trash, and then you want to talk about why is it garbage, right? And the reasons why they're garbage. I mean, again, I think all of the discussion is fine. I'm not against the discussion itself, but when you say it's like it's the problem is the discussion itself. Nah, bro, I can't drive with that. You gotta miss me.
Look up to people like Fresh and Fit for moral guidance, which
I think a guy needs to be 35 years old, had sex with 50
I don't know,
girls,
why is the audio garbage?
making 6 figures a year, and you'll be
Someone said that the audio is garbage. How so? Help me out here. We're gonna work together. do. Like, are you talking about like from the capture, or are you talking about from the microphone? Because I can try to make it better. Oh, okay, I guess. All right then.
in a position where a good amount of women will respect you.
I know a lot of things, but I don't know about that. I'm not sure why.
Well, my question is,
We're doomed.
I know a lot.
You'll be in a position.
which
I think a guy needs to be 35 years old, had sex with 50 girls, making 6 figures a year, and you'll be in a position where a good amount of women will respect you.
Well, I mean, they'll definitely put up with you. I mean, if you got 6 figures. Yeah, I can see it. I think I can see the vision. I think there's ways to nitpick that, but I see the vision.
I know a lot of things, but I don't know about that. I'm not sure why.
we're doomed. But a lot of that type of content people were able to make fun of, you know. It was very like kind of funny, cringy, you know, because like, why wouldn't you make fun of this?
I mean, I would make fun of that too, but I don't think that really doesn't have anything to do with the Manosphere. That's just like, that's, as it says, 30 powerful. That has nothing to do with the Manosphere. It's just niggas. I don't know. That's got nothing to do with anything.
But I feel like as we enter just an age of extremism in all sorts of ways, I've talked about how we're becoming extreme in our overconsumption, buying stuff that we don't need. We're also overconsuming food, also being extreme in just our movements and our presence online. And this...
Yeah, and I can see that. And I think probably one of the reasons why, as cheesy as it will sound, is because there's a fundamental lack of trying to understand and really care about like the other individual in your society. I think a lot of people are really focused on trying to look good instead of be good. And I think Salem here is going to show us a great example of that. Because like, if you've made the choice to only make fun of these guys because they're cringy, and you never stop to fundamentally understand the points that they're making, then of course you're going to sit here and be confused as to why they keep growing. It's because you're not addressing any problem. You're just scoffing at it. They're yelling in the woods of the forest. Well, the reason why, and it is goofy. It is goofy, but at least I understand why they're doing it, right? It's because they don't really have any other emotional outlet, and they want to release their rage and their anger. I've seen females do it too. I've seen women out in the forest. I'll be honest with you, bro. It looks like it's kind of a white people thing. Sorry, white people in the chat, because I've only seen white people go out into the forest and just yell and scream and all that. No, I'm messing with you. Well, I'm messing with you that I think it's a white people thing. It is true I've only seen white people do it. No, shoot, what's up? Someone sent me a super chat? Why? Reply. Oh, just $5. Wow. Thank you. Yeah, you didn't have to do that, man. I appreciate that. Thank you, Flex. I appreciate it, man. If you want, next time you can ask a question or something and I'll answer it. But I guess you're just being nice. I appreciate that. But yeah, man, it's if you don't spend any time trying to get a fundamental understanding, and understanding isn't the same as agreeing. I think a lot of people have a lot of pride in these conversations where it's like, if you give a little, if you give the ghost, then that means you have to accept everything. And it's like, that's not true. It's like, I understand that these males don't have strong emotional outlets, so they come together in the waterfall and they get all primal, and and they feel connected to nature and they scream. I understand that, right? I think it looks goofy, right? But in that way, I'm going to show you, I'm going to model, there's a world where we can grasp the point and then still disagree with like the action, which, to be honest with you, to be frank, and I'll move on, I think it's funny, but I don't care if you go into the forest and yell and scream. I think that's your prerogative. I just think it's funny.
This has really fed this corner of the internet even more. Instead of preaching about buying cars and stuff, it's just straight up like really messed up things to say in general as a human being. Some of these men in this corner of this internet will also comment like laughing emojis and pointing emojis at women who are sharing their stories or are just going on the internet to vent. And I just think that's like crazy. That's crazy. And people are taking notice of this becoming bigger and bigger.
They are being radicalized online. They are being radicalized by their friends.
Not by the relationships with the women, though.
Everything around them in this entire system through gaming, YouTube.
Yeah, it's gaming and YouTube, but not. It's not Shirley. It's not when he walked up to Shirley and said, "Hey, Shirley, I think you're really cute," and Shirley was like, "Ugh." No, that has nothing to do with that. It wasn't that he was in a relationship with Jacqueline for 5-7 years, had a baby with Jacqueline. Jacqueline was like, "Yeah, dude, I don't like you anymore, bro." And he's like, "Why, Jacqueline?" And Jacqueline's like, "'Cause, dude, you're beta." And he's like, "What does that even mean?" And she's like, "I don't care. I'm not happy anymore. So I'm going to take your baby away from you. I'm going to put you on child support, and I'm not going to let you see your child." And he's like, "But Jacqueline, we just went on vacation, like last month, bro. Like, why are you mad?" And Jacqueline's like, "I don't know why I'm mad. I just am mad. Now I'm going to make your life worse." You know what I mean? And sure, that's like a shorthand version of that story that happens to some people, but it happens to some young men. And here's the thing. Maybe bruh in his relationship with Jacqueline, we're just going to use this example. We're going to go with it. Maybe it might be the case that bruh man and Jacqueline, right? Like there's a whole bunch of different things that happen to get us there. A whole bunch of different death by 1,000 cuts kind of thing. The fact remains that bruh man didn't get here because he was watching Andrew Tate. He got here because he was in a relationship with a woman and she wasn't happy. And instead of fixing that relationship, she leaves, she takes his baby, she puts him on child support, and then she says, "I hate you." No, worst part is, in the new meta, they then go on TikTok and say you were a narcissist. That's the new meta. So somehow they're going to diagnose you with a medical condition a psychological condition only 1% of the population has. And then it's going to say it's your fault. You did something wrong. And you're going to spend like the next 15 weeks, month, 2-3 years trying to figure out what the flip happened. And bingo, that's the Manosphere, trying to figure out what happened. And I think that some people, again, like some of these clips you can find, some of these people go extreme, but there's a reason for that. And you know, I'll get into that in a little bit.
Everything. To hate women, to see them as property, to devalue.
See, but let her go. I'll let her
anything that they think or do. Their feeds are filled with rhetoric to hate women. You have to talk to your sons.
But does anyone else feel like teenage boys turn into a bunch of fucking supervillain as soon as they enter high school, man? Quite literally like looking at a bunch of future rapists, predators, and domestic abuse.
Bro, what's your slave name? What's your slave name? Toby? Goodness gracious. Oh, I'll let him cook. Go ahead and cook.
Man.
So many of these boys and men's girlfriends have even come online to talk about their experience of kind of also losing their partner to this crazy side of the internet and how they're completely different because of it. But the fact that moms are coming onto TikTok to talk about how their son is changing and everything, it just breaks my little heart. It really does. And as much as people want to say that these young men are idiots, that they're horrible, that they deserve to go to hell and rot and burn for eternity, I do have a soft spot for them. Hear me out. Yes, okay. I am a human that believes the majority of people who say things that aren't very nice still deserve sympathy, because many times, 9 times out of 10, that is not their original thought. They're repeating something from somewhere that someone said, and the reason why they're repeating it is because someone who is buff, rich, and successful is telling them to repeat these things in order to also become rich, buff, powerful, and successful.
Yeah, but to what end though, Salem? Let's see if you can land the plane. You're cooking just a little bit. Let's see. Can you land the plane, Salem?
These grown men are trying to convince these really young impressions.
Actually, what does it say? 85% of guys run for girlfriends. Rest 15% become billion. Huh? What? What's the context for this? Oh, guys run for girlfriends. Rest 15% become billion. What the fuck does that mean? I don't know.
And insecure lost boys, that they too can achieve the dream of a 13-year-old boy, which is a bunch of cars, women, and being the alpha leader in the pack. But
I think kind of one of the bigger problems here that Salem and I will go over in the future video, particularly about Fresh and Fit and a lot of the quote-unquote alpha and high-value males. A lot of these people don't grasp the concept of proof of concept, which sounds a little bit redundant. What I mean is that one of the reasons why these people are so successful is because they are the living example of what they're preaching, more or less, right? So they're basically saying that, like, here I am, like Myron Gaines, for example, is a great example of this. He is a jackass. He is. He's just mean. He is just short with women. He doesn't really seem to like them, to be quite honest with you. And yet, despite that, he's the nigga with the girlfriend. The nice guy, the Asian nice guy over here, you know what I'm saying? He's maidenless. Myron, on the other hand, is not maidenless. And so you have to ask a particular question. Well, what's going on here where someone like Myron can have multiple different relationships with women, but Luke Kane over here, no, I'm joking, I'm not gonna call him Luke Kane, but Chang over here can't. What's going on here, right? Ergo, why we have the Manosphere, we discuss these concepts. And so the proof of concept is that if you have all these different things in alignment, then you're going to be able to have relationships with women on your terms. Now, will Salem ever dispute that? I doubt it.
Fortunately,
I don't even think you can dispute it. I think maybe you can argue about the morality of whether or not you should be a jerk ass, but like, can you dispute that you have the ability to do that? No, you can't. Fresh and Fit, right here, there's a living embodiment that it doesn't matter if you're an asshole or not. If you have money, you could just smash a whole bunch of women and treat them like garbage, and and more will keep coming, and they won't stop. They won't stop. They're the proof of this. So
the narratives and messaging that comes with this type of lifestyle that a lot of young men run into does not have their best interest in mind. If this type of content, messaging, narratives, lifestyles made everything better and were truly helping young men, then we would be seeing a growth in the betterment of education, friendships, connections, successes in relationships, and mental health for these young men. But instead, we are actively seeing that all of that, every aspect of their lives, is actually not only declining, but declining fast. This content actively teaches young boys to be paranoid, angry, blame women for some reason for all of their problems.
Yeah, see, but this is so stupid. See, you cannot have a true analysis if you're going to be flippant about men trying to relate to women. All of this stuff here, right, is men trying to get to women. That's the ultimate objective, ultimately, right? Women are the end. Now, if you want to argue that that's not a good idea, fair enough, right? There should be something beyond the woman, like your family, a greater connection to God, a greater connection to society in general. There should be something beyond that. Fair enough. I'm not going to dispute that. But unless you argue with, this is the pathway to get to a female that likes me, then we're just going to be sitting here spinning our wheels, right? And we've got a whole hour of this, and I'm just like, you've already shown me you have no understanding of like why this appeals to them and why they keep reaching out to this stuff. It's because this is the path to validation and success in showing that I am good at being a man. So unless you ever address that, then here we are again, just complaining that Andrew Tate is a meanie head. It's like, okay, we get it. Andrew Tate's a meanie head. Can we actually address how everyone else in society treats young men like they're garbage? No? Okay.
And this content is not slowing down, dying out, or anything. If anything, it's getting more extreme, far more widespread, and the target demographic of this type of content is getting younger and younger. The internet is raising your boys. This is just the outcome.
So wouldn't that just be a failure as a mother to a son? No offense, but like, if you're a good mother and you reflect a good relationship with his father, excuse me, then the closest relationship he has to women is a model of excellence. So there has to be some breakdown, right? If you're a good mother and your son is being frustrated with other women, you think, what would be the And now, let me be clear. I'm not saying that every single young lady is a craptastic dating partner, because that's not true. It's not true that every woman is bad. It is true, however, that it is difficult to have relationships with women because of women. That is true. And even long-term success relationships, a lot of the time, it's like they make them hard. Their neuroses, their insecurities, their preconceived notions, all the way to their lack of empathy, all the way to the fact that some of them are very selfish. It's hard. And it's hard to enter the relationship with them, and it's hard to maintain the relationship with them. And a lot of ladies, they don't really alleviate the pressure and stress of trying to court them and be with them and date them. Henceforth, why the standard of trying to be a high-value male is so high. It is a ridiculous standard, right? Like, it is overstating the game, so to speak, insofar as you're basically going to such extremes that you're almost undeniable as a mating partner, right? It's like, if you're fit, you have a lot of money, you look very nice and suave. It's like, if there was any video game equivalence, it's like literally training up your Pikachu to be on level 50, and then you go challenge Misty. You know what I'm saying? Like in Pokemon Yellow, if your Pikachu's on level, let's say 35, we'll keep it, I guess, a little bit more reasonable to that point in the game as a second gym leader, then not only do you have a type advantage, but Pikachu is just overstat to the level 20 Pokemon. It's like, it's no contest. And that's essentially what this, if there's any analogy, essentially the idea of the high value male or high tier male is to overstat the game so much that you just become undeniable, right? Because if there's any wiggle room, if they find any fault in you, they will get the ick, they will dismiss you, they will just offhandedly move on to someone else. They won't have any respect for you or your time. But if you're just so rare, if if you're just so significant, they can't do that. And so at some point we have to address young ladies. At some point, I'm not saying they're all the whole problem, but they're a pretty big part of it.
Of that. And it sucks because I know so many of these men and young men and boys, because at this point the target demographic or brainwashing is becoming younger and younger every year, which is why we're seeing a rise of this extreme behavior grow behind the golden Lamborghinis, behind the alpha male podcasts, behind the blind rage and extremity. Truly, it is just people trying to find connection, community, purpose, and
with the member of the opposite sex or something. I don't know.
Meaning. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with looking for those things. But unfortunately, they're looking towards people like this to fill that void for them.
Here's another huge female privilege that no one talks about. You see, men don't need a good cry. They need a good angry blow up. We express ours by yelling at the world for a minute or two. Last I checked, both anger and sadness are very normal human emotions.
Okay.
Well, I don't really understand. Like, what am I supposed to? I mean, I don't really fully agree with him, but I don't understand like what was so egregious about that.
Normal human emotion.
I feel like there's a conversation to be had here. I don't understand why she used this as an example.
Last I
don't think I'm liberal enough for this. I don't think I'm liberal enough to just like instantly like find disgust with this.
People like this to fill that void for them.
Here's another huge female privilege.
Okay, huge female privilege
that no one talks about. You see, men don't need a good cry.
Now this seems to be edited, so I'm going to make the assumption that the female privilege is the full range of expressing your emotions, right? That's what I assume. I assume that the female privilege is being able to cry and people don't look down on you or something like that. Actually, hold on. Oh, shoot, someone just gave me a super chat. Damn, $50? Why? I'll take it. So Prince Revolver says, I'll get back to my train of thought. I'm going to read the super chat first. Sidestepping feminism, radicalizing a generation of women against men to avoid why men have an identity crisis. Men are simply trying to adapt to women, consistently changing the rules. Precisely, 100%. That's absolutely the greatest problem. Is the fact that, like, from go, you've already made it so that young ladies themselves don't like men. They don't respect men. They don't care about men, right? All the while, and here's the irony, or here's the hypocrisy, they expect men to care about them and to continue to perform for them and to have men continue to adhere to their traditional standard. Now, this is something we've talked about in the Manosphere for very many years, particularly MGTOW and MRAs, and that is that the traditional standard of malehood is almost, even guys like in the high value male space, they are still actually just an extreme reflection of that traditional masculinity, quote unquote. And I'll talk about why I don't like those terms in future videos as well, but whatever. And as such, because you keep trying to force men to adhere to a system that really doesn't work, all you generate are, as she says earlier, or as the Asian dude says earlier, a bunch of villains who are just frustrated with the system because the system is trash. I'm going to be honest with you. It's a trash system. And when you bake women in feminism, you bake them in the idea that males are the opposite. It makes it very hard for women to care about men. And so when women don't care about men, but they want to use men, they create a whole bunch of different standards that they use to, like, I guess, mate select or just, abuse them, really. I think a lot of people don't recognize how abusive young ladies can be to men because it's not, like, physical, or a lot of the stuff we just kind of take for, I don't want to say take for granted, but we don't take seriously is probably a better word. Like, for example, like, here's a really good example. I saw this on Instagram the other day. There's this dude who's playing this meme of his voicemail of this woman yelling at him because he didn't come home at that particular point in time. And I thought it was really interesting that the comments were like, well, this is how you know a woman really cares about you. And I thought it was really fascinating that a woman calling you out of your name, yelling at you, saying that she's going to hurt you because you didn't make it back home on time means that she cares about you. And it's like, oh, so that's caring about someone, being really mean and disparaging and cruel to them, and so, yeah, I think feminism, radicalizing young women, disconnecting women from men is definitely the start. And these people just kind of refuse to talk about that. It's kind of crazy to me because, again, I was saying this earlier at the top. It's like Salem here, even Salem here isn't even unintelligent. But when you try to make an opinion that isn't true work, or you try to make a philosophy that isn't true correct and apply it to reality, it's just gonna look dumb. It's just gonna look stupid. It's not right. But anyway, let's get back to this guy here.
They need a good angry blow up.
I mean, I think a good angry blow up is I mean, I could see it going both ways. If you express the anger at that one time and you move forward, then like sure, it's better than carrying it on for days on end. That's not a good thing. It's not a good thing to be melancholic or to kind of be passive aggressive over a period of time. But at the same time, it's also not good to have not expressed or moved through those emotions for up to that point either. But I think he's kind of, I do still think that the context here is him talking about something that women can't do versus something that men can do, or vice versa, something women can do and men can't do. And that is, a lot of men can't regularly express the way they feel because a lot of people will either make fun of them or not take it seriously.
We express ours by yelling at the world for a minute or two. Last I checked, both anger and sadness are very normal human emotions.
Okay.
Yeah, but see, I don't even think there's any. I really can't find what immediately is wrong with that.
Okay.
I don't know. I just kind of feel like there's a conversation to be had there. I don't understand why Salem put this here as like he's leading males astray. Not with that clip. I don't know. Like that's kind of how a lot of men operate. Unfortunately, I mean, if you want to say it's unfortunate, but then I'm not even sure if he's saying that that's the way it should be. I think he's just saying that's the way it is. I don't know.
Whatever that means.
Which explains a lot. And this is a problem that has...
Wait, hold on. You guys said something. Let me see. So Seg says... Oh, I think Salem recognizes that as the issue. Maybe she does. Maybe I'll give her some grace. Maybe she does.
Been building up over the years, and there needs to be more awareness towards it because this isn't normal. And I'm here to talk about it with you. I've made a handful of videos about similar topics. I already know the drill. I already know what's gonna happen. If you're here just to like send me hate, tell me that I'm fat, ugly, and I'll die alone.
Uh-oh. Well, actually, she's married. Don't worry
First
about
of all, your mom. Second of all, I am not single.
Yeah, see? I'm married! Yeah, see, I knew it. Yeah. I'm pretty, like, I've watched her videos before. I'm not here to hate on her. I'm here to disagree because your opinions are stupid. No, your opinions are stupid. No.
If you can't get past feeling personally attacked, then that's really not my problem and I can't help you. But I really want this video to be one that's open, understanding, a more nuanced conversation.
Now, let us see if that is the case. Like I said, I'm fresh. I haven't seen this video, guys. She could prove me wrong. Flex, my man, sends another super chat. Drew Awfulafo and K111 all men TikTok. Oh, kill all men TikToks are a thing. That's a good point. Red Pill is right. Women respond to look/money. If Red Pill is bad, so is TikTok. Salem brand feminism. Well, feminism is inherently bad, right? It's always bad. I think the issue with the Red Pill and I can't even say the Manosphere. The Manosphere is just a huge collection of different voices. The issue with the Red Pill currently might be an overfocus on materialism and status, certainly, and a lack of measuring power against responsibility, I think. And so I do want to make this video pretty soon. But being a high-tier, high-value male doesn't really mean you have to be an asshole at all. It really doesn't. And if women want you to be an asshole, you don't have to be. There's no obligation that you should mistreat or be a dickhead to women because they like it, because it makes their kitties wet. Like you don't have to do any of that. The truth of the matter is, you should really encourage women to seek out virtue, character, and teach them to be people that have virtue in character. And both people should treat each other well. Obviously not the same. I don't think I'm not in the mindset that we're all the same. That's stupid. But at the very least, we need to be reciprocal to having good relationships. So if you want to criticize that, I criticize that all the time. I think that's a fair criticism. I think the issue is people want to people want to be upset with the materialism as if it is not a response to what ladies are picking. Like it's not like it isn't reacting to a first problem. It's like the reaction is the problem, not the problem itself, if you get what I'm saying. And when you start the analysis that way, it's stupid. It's nonsensical. You can't move any forward if you're trying to put a cast on a fixed arm, but your leg is broken. That doesn't make any sense. And that's essentially what they're doing. They're like, let me give you some ibuprofen. And it's like, yeah, but I have the flu. Like, why would you give me headache medication, right, when I'm sneezing? That doesn't make any sense.
Because I actually go way deeper into different aspects of these topics to kind of figure out why this content became so popular in the first place, why it's continuing to get even bigger, how women are reacting to this type of content, such as the 4B movement, but also how, in general, this entire movement and corner of the internet truly is just a microcosm of what's happening.
Wait, hold on. I saw a Stitch and Adam. Who the flip is Taylor Lawrence? Taylor Lawrence. That sounds familiar. I don't know who that is. Sorry, I'm just reading through some of the chat, guys. It goes... Okay, so Anonymous says, you should see the podcast with Taylor Lorenz and Matt Bernstein. They theorizing how to recapture the young male vote to the left, while saying patriarchy exists, but women are ahead. I don't think I've heard of them before, or maybe I have, and I just need to see them again. But I don't know if you can really recapture. Well, I think you could recapture the male vote. You just have to appeal to males. I think that's got to be one of the dumbest things politically. I don't understand this. It's like, if you want people to vote for you, you have to give them what they ask for. So what do young men want? They want secure jobs. They want the ability to provide for their families. They want to be able to have relationships with women. They want to be able to have children with women. How do you get there, Democrats? What is this theory crafting on how to get the male vote? What do young men want? And then try to figure out how to give it to them. Problem solution. Here I am being a capitalist or something like that.
Happening in the real world right now. It's a mix of parents being absent, the internet taking over.
Wait, hold on. The lady who does libs of TikTok. I'm sure I have seen her before then. Yeah, I definitely have. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, though.
People in general lacking community and good role models. People turning to social media for guidance rather than themselves. And how warped everything is becoming because of that. And how all of this is separating men and women even further. Father and sons, mother and sons, girlfriends and boyfriends, and so much more. Just so much more separation. When that shouldn't be the ultimate goal. So when I say this goes a lot deeper than just golden Bugattis and Instagram hoes, I mean it. So get into bed with me, get your medieval lantern, ZocDoc, and Shopify. Do you drink? Isn't it?
Like, you know what's funny? You guys aren't very familiar with Salem. And I realize I keep on skipping her stuff ahead here. You guys are like, well, why is he doing that? I've seen her video. I've seen very many of her videos, and I've actually, here's what you guys don't know, a little behind the scenes thing. I've actually filmed out quite a few responses to Salem, but they were so long and difficult to digest that I never uploaded them, to be honest with you. It's really and this is part of the reason why I'm making a live stream now. There's just so much, right? There's just so much to say, and her videos are long by themselves. And so in some videos, actually, now that I think about it, I'm sure I have included a video response to Salem on my channel earlier, a couple years ago. But yeah, she does these little things here. Like, here's her Shopify ad. We're gonna skip
appointments for today's discussion topic number 1.
There you go.
Boyhood interrupted. The rise of alpha content among young viewers, and how radicalization is robbing them of their childhoods, adolescence, and teenagehoods. But who cares, because they should be grinding. They should be wanting to get a car and become a millionaire as soon as possible. They gotta be alpha. They gotta be a real man. And the only way to become a real man is to watch Manosphere content. There is something that is changing. I feel it in the wind. I feel it in the trees. You can taste the change in the water.
I'm gonna get my dual disc and send this bitch to the shadow room. Get to the point.
The water that's turning the frogs gay, even though that's what people believe.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn.
Well, you know, the thing about Alex Jones, right, and that one thing that people meme him for, is he wasn't actually entirely wrong. That's the goofiest part about that. Like, we meme Alex Jones for turning the frogs gay, particularly, but it's one of the few things he technically wasn't really wrong about.
Turn the friggin' frogs gay!
You see, that changes that little boys aren't little boys anymore. Little boys used to like Minecraft parties, used to watch Ryan's toy reviews, but even Ryan Toys reviews has a mustache. That's because boys are turning into young men who use the internet. And the internet can be a place filled with community, new discoveries, Roblox, which is my personal favorite. But amidst the wild of the internet, there is content lurking about, waiting to snag your innocent
seeing this fucking waterfall thing is kind of crazy to me. I don't know why are your feelings hurt so bad about that?
Or just grown ass man.
It's
And
just
these
niggas,
type of
it's just niggas in the just yelling in a waterfall, bro. Just let them rock.
content creators aren't trying to sell you Robux, okay? Oh, no. This side of the internet is trying to sell men something even better. I'm talking cars, hoes, money, more hoes, how to be alpha.
No, don't
Three
leave.
things alpha males never say.
No, I need you. Listen, bro. This is the spirit bomb, Prince Revolver. I need your power for the spirit bomb to help me get through this. You can't just leave. You have to be here for me. You have to be here for me. But all right, my man. If you're bringing it out, thanks for tuning in, man. I appreciate you. I see you in the comments all the time, my man.
Number one, when can I see you?
I'm telling you, as a
she is
human
trying
being,
to be funny.
it is weird, and you look weird. Okay, I'm just gonna leave that there.
And at a glance, this content might just look a little harmless. It's just a couple of guys doing guy stuff, you know? Nothing wrong with wanting cars and, wanting to find a relationship, right? But when you dig a little deeper, you come to find that it's actually...
You do not have to accept her rejection.
Now, this is what disgusts me about these people, right? So I've seen Broham here, this dude here. I didn't realize he was as snaggletooth as he was. Now, to give you guys the inkling of background that I have, right? He would come and parody a lot of, and it just always did come off as a parody, of some of the red pill talking points of looks, money, status, maintaining frame, all that good stuff, right? Now, there's a looksism argument here that could be had. There really is. We don't have to have that one today. But a lot of the bread tubers, so to speak, or liberal people started to say, look at this guy. He's not him. How dare he talks like this? And it's like, yeah, first of all, no one really respected him. And he just kind of seemed like a parody to begin with. But one of the biggest problems is they keep using these clips, or using the most outlandish guy to try to paint the broad stroke. And this is why I hate left-leaning content in general. They have a huge habit of never actually trying to address the meat or the main idea, but kind of just using these outlandish people or these outlandish points in order to color everyone as just kind of crazy. Which is another reason why I hate Nick Fuentes, because he makes the shit so easy for him.
You guys don't understand how much a woman can fuck your life up when you don't know what the hell is going on.
But that's just true. Now, Myron, but that's just true. And I think that you'd be disingenuous to not reflect or understand how true that is.
Saying, give her the gift of missing you. Give her the gift of fighting for your attention.
Thing is, a man is...
Well, okay, so again, so now, I guess, as a liberal, you would hear that, and your little heart would hurt. The only problem is that That is how ladies operate. That is what they do. They like that. They like men that are aloof. They like handsome, attractive men that are aloof and not giving them the attention that they're craving. They like it. They fiend for it.
Capable of having sex with other women while still loving his girl the same.
Here's another huge theme.
I mean, that's something that could be discussed. I don't think that's true. I think that if you cheat on someone, it's pretty clear you don't love them because you're doing an action you know is going to hurt them. So, I mean, game, set, match on that one. However, lots of ladies will stay with these high-value males who cheat, so it begs a question now, doesn't it?
Female privilege that no one talks about.
Guys win again. And yes.
Why are we doing this?
Is trying to destroy a man's character.
You think that the majority of people that's joining the Me Too movement are lying?
Generally.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but that's also true, though, unfortunately. Well, to be fair, I don't know. Now, I've encountered women who have fibbed and were misleading on their sexual assault cases or on their sexual harassment cases. This is entirely possible and true. They can do it. It does happen. So I think that the problem is you're asking about an unknown. Like, you can't know that all these people are lying. But there's a big problem with the fact that it does open the door for very many people to lie. So, in principle, when you open the conversation with believe all women, you just from go, you've already messed up. Because a woman who is deceptive can join that very easily and then just mess people up. So it's not a good thing. It's a stupid tagline for that reason alone. Oh yeah, $5 from Gresh. He goes, I might have to dip too, bro. The whispering and attempts at humor are too much. Anybody using that style of video thumbnail should be avoided. I understand. I get you. I understand. I get it. Hopefully she gets to the point. Bearing in mind, I didn't plan this out, by the way. This is like we're here together, man. We gotta, like I said, you guys gotta give me your energy for the spirit bomb.
Human being, it is weird.
The messaging behind the lifestyle caters to a very specific type of male, young, old.
Yeah, so I see someone found out that the No Fugazi dude is pretty fugazi. So here's the thing about No Fugazi. I don't know if you were here at the top of the live stream. I tried to call in, was it last night, to kind of talk to him. He kind of skipped over me, made me a little sad. So the thing with No Fugazi is he works with a lot of implications, misdirections, and doesn't really stick to the point. It's kind of annoying. It's kind of what he was doing last night, a whole bunch of things. One of the biggest problems is that, like, he wants to pretend that everyone that has an issue with him being with a single mother, while he simultaneously says that you shouldn't be with single mothers, is just people just losing their minds or just being stupid and illogical. Like, I think that's ridiculous. I don't know. Like, and there's nuance to his situation. Evidently, he was a single dad, and the woman that he's with, it was a single mom, and they're basically, a blended family, right? Like, now that's the truth of the Fugazi situation. He's in a blended family. Why he doesn't just say that blows my mind. I don't know why he just won't explain it. It's ridiculous. Instead, he wants to paint himself out as the exception to the rule as to why it's all right for him to be with a single mother, not marry her, by the way, but give her multiple children. So he's going to continue to make her a baby mom. It's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy by itself. Anyway, the issue being is that he's operating in the great pretending that on the surface, what he's doing looks pretty fugazi. But the truth is, there is some nuance. So he had full custody of his daughter. He blended the family. Well, technically he didn't, because he didn't marry this woman, but is essentially, in principle, a blended family. And he then goes on to tell other men to not date single mothers because XYZ reason. And there's plenty of reasons why you should avoid dating a single mother, but I guess why he won't just say he's the exception because he was a single father, I don't get it. I don't understand why the nigga just won't say that. I really don't. Oh shit, I got a couple supporting the stream. Thank you, Jay. Was that JL West? Jill West? I'm gonna call you Jill West. No, I'm kidding. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. Dog eat dog. Most women, especially online, can't/won't even point to toxic female behavior. Great point. They think red pill comes from nowhere. It's just, yeah, it is. Just all bad faith. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is, man. And it's extremely annoying. And it's one of the reasons why, like, for example, I don't like wheat waffles, right? And I'm going to make a video about why I don't like wheat waffles in the future. But at the very least, I understood wheat waffles. This might be a bit of a deviation. And for those of y'all who don't know, wheat waffles was an old, well, I say old, black pill YouTuber where he made lots of different videos hyper focusing on looksism and what different features are attractive to women and what features are not attractive to women. And after a while, it got gratuitous. He made a video. This is the last wheat waffle video I ever watched. And he was like, which nose is attractive? Or which noses are more attractive? And I was like, this is stupid. Like, at what point? Like, this is ridiculous. But it's in that I kind of recognized why it's so gratuitous and why there's such an over explanation. And it's because lots of people like to pretend that looksism and the black pill is ridiculous and that humans aren't shallow sometimes, or a lot of the times really, and that women particularly are not shallow people who will immediately dismiss you based on the way you look. No, they won't do that at all. And because there's such a resistance to accept that reality, which even then is still technically more neutral than it would be evil or good, because every human being is kind of shallow and likes appealing things. So technically, it's not even wrong for women to be that way. That's the thing. But the problem is that because they pretend that they're not, lots of incels and black pillars have to over-explain and overcorrect for the fact that they keep saying it's not true. And it's like, no, it is true. Here are all the facts and data points and all the graphs and all the ways that it is true, because people keep resisting it. And to me, I think it's disingenuous and nasty. I can't stand the fact that people pretend that women aren't shallow sometimes. I mean, young ladies are shallow against themselves, but they're not going to be shallow against young men. Can we, like use your fucking brain for a second, you know what I mean?
Just type of male, because not every male consumes this type of content, but the male who does, who accidentally stumbles across it and finds that they really like it, or purposely finds this type of content and likes it, kind of get trapped into this never endless loop of these rich millionaire men telling these males that they're not good enough unless they have millions of dollars, look like a Chad, and get to bang at least 10 Instagram hoes a night. But even if your goal is to get more women and money, women are actually a reason why you can't get money, and women are the reason why you also can't get women. And basically, women are the enemy, and they're the reason why you are oppressed in society. Your masculinity is under attack, and you need to reclaim it by doing stuff like this.
First, I don't lean over it. The proper way to do it: get up, shift the whole body with your head, continue the movement.
Yeah, but I mean, at first, I've never seen that clip, man. Like, this does kind of feel lowbrow, and I almost want to apologize to you guys, because I thought that, I don't know, maybe we would get something here. But who else wouldn't make fun of that? That was the stupidest thing. I'm in full agreement that just looks cheesy and stupid.
This is the alpha mindset, and you just wouldn't understand this.
But also, so she kind of dances around something, but she's not fully committing. I'm gonna see if she commits to it eventually, but I doubt it.
Is the only way you will ever find purpose, feel fulfilled, and be a true man. This type of content is part of something larger, which is why it keeps invading. And
yeah, the larger thing it's a part of is that we want to be with women, and some of you guys are assholes. That's and that the only way we can get you guys to listen to us is if we just have so much dickhead amounts of money that you're like, oh, okay, fine, I'll listen. Like that, I don't know.
in your son's life, in your boyfriend's life, maybe your dad. It's affecting the majority of males nowadays. Again, not all of you, because I know y'all like to be different. We get it. You're one of the good ones. Here's a cookie. This content is a
well, this is really problematic, right? And I know this seems like a slight detail, but it's an important one. And that is, oh, that's a bad pause. But the problem with being so flippant and dismissive of the quote-unquote good men is that it's antithetical to how you reinforce good behavior. And that is, when someone does something good, you compliment them and you praise them and you tell them it's good to encourage them to keep doing it. If you think that this is the quote-unquote bare minimum, if you think that it doesn't matter, if you're so flippant, then you're just going to push more men away because they think that you're ungrateful, which you are. You are ungrateful, Salem. If these are quote-unquote good liberal men who support your content, you should probably appreciate them, you idiot.
whole universe in itself, which is why it's called the Manosphere.
Oh, Lord. Again. Again. Nothing new, nothing changed, same old shit. Same old
Well, hold on. Whatever.
Originally, it consisted of spaces for men to discuss their lives, their hobbies, their problems, and just male challenges that they felt like society didn't understand. Issues such as divorce, custody issues, dating, and perceived disadvantages in the social systems that impact men.
Yeah, but it still is, though. Like, if you're looking at, like, the TikTok Zoomer BS of, like, again, Andrew Tate, Fresh and Fit, and whatever that goofy suitcase nigga was, then, like, you're missing all the MRAs, you're missing the divorce MGTOW, you're missing the incels, you're missing the red pillars who just are trying to figure this stuff out, not even because they need money and status, but because they want to understand why there's such a breakdown in their relationships. And then you're missing all the men in between. Because here's what's kind of crazy about this, right? One of the craziest things is the manosphere are just the men that are aware that they have a problem. But they're not the only men that have a problem. A lot of there's dudes right now in a Twitch stream, right now, you know what I'm saying? Giving bits and money to a chick right now who haven't been touched by their wife in 3 years. Haven't, you know what I'm saying? When they go to bed, she turns her back to the nigga, right? She don't even look at the nigga when they go to sleep. Right now. Right now. He's not a red pillar, though. But he's here in this state of quiet desperation, not being touched by his wife. It's crazy. You have these liberal dudes right now trying to go into some feminist rally with some chick that trapped him in the friend zone. Right now. So it's like this issue, the red pill, they're just the men that are aware and cognizant that there's something going on, right? But there's young men, they starving. They starving. You got Jay West, my man. He said, okay, Jay West with another $5, my man. Man, let one of those dudes step out to her. She will be spreading eagle and still complaining. If you hate these dudes, then why are you always dating them? Now that's the question of the day, isn't it? To be fair, Jay, yes. Salem is married. I don't know the type of nigga she's married to, but she is married. But the fact remains that there's lots of other men who are married who are having really tough time just trying to relate to their wife and talk to her and just have a good life with her, right? And to be fair, this isn't, I don't want to sit here and just be all like, well, men are perfect. That's stupid. I don't think men are perfect either. But the fact remains, it's very easy to criticize men just from go, right? So there's no real need for me to go out my way to say, well, here's how all the men are real bad people. That's stupid. Like, you just go on TikTok for that. The problem is that, like, you can't only have one side of the equation being constantly maligned and picked at, like Salem's doing this radical manosphere content. Why didn't you talk about the radical feminism that got us here in the first place? You see what I'm saying? We're upset at the people trying to correct the problem or respond to a problem instead of the actual problem.
There are some areas where men are disadvantaged, such as not having good support systems, having on average worse mental health, feeling lonely, having trouble dating, and
now notice how both women can help men feel less lonely and help them with dating, but we're not going to talk about that.
so much more. So I understand the search for answers and help. Everyone should always put in the effort to improve themselves and do the best what they can with the disadvantages and the bad cards that they're handed in life, you know? However, as the internet started to get bigger, so did this movement. Pretty soon, this corner of the internet started to give birth to pickup artists, manosphere-based influencers. More content was being pumped out as a response to the progressivism of movements such as feminism and the Me Too movement. As the culture started shifting, this type of content started to stray away from men-centered issues to becoming a commercialized mess that was an echo chamber of how feminism was killing masculinity. And
you know, honestly, it might be better to say that the advent of TikTok in general kind of helped to radicalize more people in general. And I know it might not seem like it's the case, but one of the biggest problems with TikTok's algorithm and its existence is its virality, the ability to pump out any short clip or any short piece of information and just spread it out very, very quickly, very, very fast. And it can really color people's perception of people, individuals, or events without having the full information because TikTok is so short and bite-sized, right? So you think that there's more of an issue going on than there may ever actually be. And it doesn't actually, it's not even just Manosphere. It's just, it doesn't matter what it is. It's just that TikTok in general, I actually think has been quite malignant in many different ways. And so you'll notice that Salem here is arguing with little clips and points that she probably saw on TikTok without any full context or any full history or understanding of these different issues. Because none of these people, well, I say none of these people, there's very many pockets of the manosphere that still discuss these same issues. They may not be on TikTok, so to speak, but they're still out here having live streams. They're still out here planning events. They're still out here talking to young men, trying to help them out. You even had the lead attorney, who's a divorce lawyer on YouTube. Also, like he calls himself Purple Pill, right? Right? But he, after 20 years of being a divorce attorney, he's seen a whole bunch of different things. James Sexton, another example. I don't remember how long he's been a divorce attorney, but it's been a couple of years from him too. And again, it's like these complex conversations are happening. It's just not bite-sized little clips on TikTok. But if you're drinking from that, if you're getting your information just from little clips on that, there's always going to color your perception. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's like literally trying to look through a peephole from the outside of the house to understand what's going on. And do I need to explain that analogy?
And how in general masculinity was and is under attack. Pretty soon, groups like Men Go Their Own Way emerged.
Well, it's not pretty soon. These niggas was there from go, but whatever.
Which rejected traditional relationships with women and started to argue that modern society
I mean, that might actually be true, misogynist. For those of y'all who don't know, this is Paul Elam. Paul Elam's been around for very many years. But I don't know how familiar people are with him. He hasn't been very relevant for, at least I haven't noticed for a while, the last couple of years. I don't know what he's been doing in the background.
Fairly favored women in marriage and divorce. Which I'm like, just be a better partner, then you wouldn't have to get divorced. Whatever. The content became...
But this right, see, I wish she would just say it with her chest, right?
Divorce. Which I'm like, just be a better partner, then you wouldn't have to get divorced. Whatever. The content...
Yeah, so it's like we're operating on like the great pretending that like we don't have two people in a relationship or a marriage that are frustrating each other or who are going tit for tat with each other or who's making life harder for each other. Or we're going to pretend that there aren't some women who literally just straight up get bored. I was just on Reddit the other day and the chick she just got bored. She just got bored. That's it. That's all that. You know what? How about this? I'm gonna let this play and I'm gonna see if I can find that post. So if you guys will just bear with me for one moment, we're gonna read that post together. Just give me a second. I'm gonna let Salem say a little bit more while I go look for this. Uh-oh.
and became more widespread as algorithms rewarded
Actually,
this.
you know what? Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should just go find the post. Give me 1 second. Because I was just on Reddit. And I was just reading it. Uno momento. Por favor. Hold on. Someone sent me a super chat. Yeah, they did. Damn, I think we can stop the video right there. If that's the way she thinks of these things, straight buy a home if you're homeless type quip. Dead ass though, bro. Dead ass. Dead ass, bro. Maybe I could. Marriage. So I'm gonna go to r/marriage. Let's see if it brings this up. Now let's see if I can find this. Marriage ruined my relationship. Let's see if I can pull it up. I almost ruined. I feel like blah blah blah. Wait, is it this one? No. Let me see if I do this. I'm gonna search up the username instead. That's bullshit. I was just... What? Hold on. Now I feel goofy. Sorry, guys. That's... Okay. Alright, then. Okay. Okay. Okay, Reddit. Okay. That's what you wanna... That's what you wanna do. Here we go. Boom. Boom! Got it. So, so this is actually this right here, right? Now, let us be, as I like to be fair and balanced. I like to have grace. Okay, let's have some grace. Sure, every marriage isn't gonna be like this, but this right here, this is a good example. This is a great example right here. I'm so bored of our life, and it feels like I'm going to explode anytime soon. I am willing to hear that I'm the one in the wrong here. Anything to better this. I, 30-year-old female, have been married to my husband, 30-year-old male, for 7 years now. We had a very long honeymoon period, and everything was great for a long time. I'd say about 2 years ago. The heat, started to calm down. More fights started. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry, my bad. I still like who he is as a person. He goes to the gym regularly and has not slacked off on his physique. So he's still sassy. He's still sassy. Still sexy. You know what I'm saying? He's still him. Listen, so check this out. So he's still him, right? He's still okay, still him. Still physically attractive. So he's not one of, and this is something that happens with a lot of married people. And I've seen this quite frequently, where they'll get married and then they'll stop trying, right? They slack off. They just, well, I'm married, I don't need to try anymore, I don't care. This is both male and female side of things, right? He's not that guy. He's not him, right? He's not the guy who slacked off. Check this out. He is a good person with a big heart. And I feel he is very smart, and the same topic interests us. Overall, no complaints on him. It's just the roommate essence that I think has ruined everything for me. I'm bored of having the same conversations every day. And if we go out to dinner for a show, it feels monotonous. We're both introverts, but I enjoy going out more often than he does. He only goes out for me, he says. So bruh man is content. Bruh man, this is crazy. This is crazy, right? Young men are supposed to be better partners, right? We're supposed to be better partners. But she's the one that's bored. He's like, look, bro, we just stay home and just be with each other. She's the one that's like, I'm bored. She's like, you don't play Yu-Gi-Oh with me anymore. She's like, we watched all episodes of Digimon. So check this out. She says, now watch this. Now this is actually pretty interesting. We have different levels of cleanliness. He is by no means dirty and does help out with cleaning and cooking. way more than my friends' husbands. So he's actually better in comparison to her friends' husbands, right? So that's from her word of mouth. So they say I should count my blessings, but he only cleans when he finds something dirty to his standards. And I don't want to be cleaning up after him every time he doesn't realize all the crumbs he left everywhere, or chocolate stains from eating ice cream on the couch. Things that I feel an adult should clean after. Sorry. I don't know why. This is kind of clunky the way she wrote this. Things that I feel an adult should clean after themselves. Now, this is a great example of what I call making a problem, right? And what I mean by that is, whatever is actually bothering you, whatever is actually annoying you or sending you, instead of just talking about that, you start nitpicking your wife or your husband. You start nitpicking and just trying to find something to grab onto that you can be angry with. But this is a non-problem. He doesn't clean up as much as I want him to. I mean, he cleans up, but just not as much as I want. What? Who cares, nigga? Like, it's your house too. If you want to live in a clean environment, then you have to sometimes just clean up a little bit more than you would otherwise want. I mean, like you saying, well, he's an adult, he's just clean. Okay, well, he does. He just doesn't do it as much as you do. So, what problem? What even? If this is your problem, by the way, if your problem is that they don't clean up, even though they do clean up, they just don't do it as much, then you don't have a problem. You're just trying to find something to be mad at. Now, she has enough self-awareness when she goes on and she says, I feel guilty about nitpicking or causing small arguments about the small stuff. I just feel so bored of everything. I don't know why I'm feeling like this because, like I said, as a person, I still like who he is. I just feel like we are too close sometimes. I know everything about him and I can predict what he'll say most of the time about every topic. I know him really well. I used to think this was a good thing, but it's not feeling so anymore. Now, this is the type of thing that leads to a divorce, by the way. I'm not divorce. Well, it'll lead to cheating, which then should lead to a divorce, or at least should most of the time. And that is, when you use a relationship like it's a form of entertainment, then eventually you are going to get bored. It's just going to happen. Eventually, it'll get monotonous. Eventually, you're gonna know what the person's going to say, what they believe. So what you have to do is you have to treat your partner, your spouse, like a human being and have conversations about things that you can do together. Here's one thing that's really interesting, right? For example, I'm going to use League of Legends because I just have a strong frame of reference for League of Legends, right? In League of Legends, you play on Summoner's Rift constantly, all the time, right? It's the main map. They kind of forced it that way. They got rid of Twisted Tree Line like a bunch of idiots. But the fact remains that you're mostly doing the same thing over and over and over again. Even though you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, technically, what makes it really interesting and fun is the human element of who you're battling, right? So for me, I love top lane because, for the most part at least, it's just a 1v1 lane of me and my opponent, for the most part. Niggas who play League of Legends, they know. They know why I'm grumbling. But the fact remains that even in most video games, Nintendo made the same game 15 times over. We call it Pokemon. It's the same thing in function and principle, but why do people keep on playing it? Excuse me. It's because there are slightly different elements or tweaks to it, and because you can, they also make little micro changes too sometimes, which is a bit redundant when I said tweaks. I guess the micro changes, I was thinking of like type advantages, so you have to like relearn how the system works. There's things that are, even though the base of it is the same, and you're never doing anything new or truly different in a Pokemon game, except with Pokemon Arceus, which was fantastic, but we'll talk about that some other time. Because the main base of the JRPG Pokemon game is the same, there's only really like little tweaks and slight like deviations that keep it interesting, right? For example, like Mega Evolution or the Dynamax they did in Sword and Shield. And I don't know what special thing they put in Scarlet and Violet. I didn't touch those games. But the fact remains that it's the same thing, right? Now, the thing about being a human, and the reason why I'm using video games is because they're just a really consistent example, is that we do the same thing a lot, right? What keeps us interested or entertained is the human element of how we as a person can tweak it or make it different. For example, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the concept of a Nuzlocke in a Pokemon game, but basically you set up rules for yourself to make the Pokemon game harder, right? For example, the other thing you can do is you can make a full team of just fire type Pokemon and see how far you can get into the Pokemon. I don't know how far you get, but you could do that. You could be a type trainer. You can take the elements or the ingredients that is monotonous or the same in every Pokemon game. You can play each Pokemon game differently. This is an analogy for any relationship you have. Just because you already know what the person's going to say, you can actually then start having different conversations, or you can play around with the intimacy that gets created there. Now, from my point of view, I don't really, here's the thing, maybe I'm just different. Maybe I'm just built different, right? I don't really particularly get bored with the women that I know for a very long time, because my mind is constantly engaged in different things. So I'll just talk to them about different stuff. I'll just ask them different stuff, right? So like I never really get all that bored, but I've also never like lived with a woman either for a long period of time. But I think that I never used the woman as a source of entertainment, so I can never get bored with her, right? It's not possible. And even if I was quote unquote bored with a woman, I could just go read a book. I'll just go read a book. I'll just go do a different thing. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't make a problem. And I think that fundamentally the issue that this woman here is having, and very many women are having, is that they're using relationships as a source of entertainment, like a video game, but they don't want to put in the actual human element of doing something different with the video game. They want the video game to stimulate them emotionally. And I'm sorry, but like that can only go so far once you've played the shit already, you know? And so more than anything, you know, your friends, your family, they're people. You're not supposed to use them to entertain you, right? So I'll wrap this up here. She says, and from the beginning, he was never the big romantic type. So you picked this nigga, you knew the nigga was like that, and then now, 7 years later, you're upset that the nigga's not like that. That's crazy. But anyway, but he did do some romantic things when we just started to date. That was really cute. I missed that. I've mentioned it, but he says I can't ask for things like that of him. No, I guess I don't know. I guess it's kind of clunky. It's not really genuine, but who cares? And I agree. I prefer a good life partner than endless supply of gifts and love bombing from a bad guy. So okay, then what are you complaining about then, nigga? I know that's what matters in the end. On the other hand, I am toying with the idea of suggesting polyamory. Let me go get some schlong from someone else, man. Let me go get the long, deep strokes from someone else. That's what I need. I need somebody else that's not you. But you see, my friends, right? And this is hopefully you guys, if we take anything away from this, and I don't know about Salem, hopefully we can kind of take away. We're not supposed to use our relationships like they're a source of entertainment, because now she wants to relive the romance with someone else. That's why she's suggesting this polyamory nonsense. It's like, let's go find other people to date. It's like, or you could talk to me, the motherfucker that's been with you for 7 years, and we could figure out something different. Another thing is that, like, when she's looking at romance again, that she needs to be courted. It's like, okay, well, how about you court him? Why don't you think of giving him a gift instead of you thinking that he needs to give you a gift? You see what I'm saying? Why don't you start? I don't know. Why don't you write the nigga a poem? Why don't you do that? Why does he need to do it? So again, one problem that we keep having is we have one side of the male-female relationship is that the male has to do something to prove and engage with and romance the woman. And the woman just sits there and she just receives. And when she stops receiving, now she's like, oh, I'm bored. To be honest with you, it never should have been like that, right? It should have been two people working together, because that's what is reflective in life. That's how marriages used to always be historically, actually, was more people working in unison with one another than you would just have one person working like a goddamn dog while the other person is just sitting there, you know what, knitting. And sure, maybe the 50s was more complex than that, but you get my point. Well, it's definitely more complex than that, but hopefully you get my point there. You know, so it's like if you're suggesting polyamory so you can like reinvigorate your life and go on and find new people to have a crush on, then again, You're using people like a video game. You're using people as a source of entertainment, and they're not. They're people. They're human beings, right? So she goes, the idea of going out on fun dates and having new stimulating conversations attracts me. And that's my point there, right? It's like she's just proving it. But I think if I mention it, he will not like it, and it will cause a huge rift in our relationship. Of course it would. I don't want to have sex with anyone else or be physically intimate. I just like the idea of a date. And to be honest, I don't really want to think about him being physically intimate with someone else. That's also why I haven't brought it up. So stop being stupid then. We briefly talked about these issues, but both see no solution. I've tried, quote, dating him while married, but I'm still feeling like this. He doesn't even like to go out anymore. I feel too young to already feel this boredom in marriage. I suspect he's also a little bored, but he's just more content with just staying in and sitting in silence than I am. Advice, please. So that's the thing, right? That's the post. This is a great example of what young men have to deal with just in a marriage, right? Like you have to first get married, and then while you're married, right, if you slack on the quote unquote romance, then she gets bored. And it's due to this boredom. Now she wants polyamory. Now she wants to go date other people. Like, nigga, what are you doing? The whole and you want to know, and you have to notice something very interesting though, guys. Notice why she wants to date other people. Do you think, let's interact in the chat. Do you think that she wants to go out on dates with other men so she can pay for their dinner? You think that she wants to? You think that she wants to, explain all of her riveting, complex theories, all her book ideas, all her story ideas? You think that's why she wants to go on dates? Or do you think she wants to go on dates so somebody else can tell her something interesting and entertaining, and someone else can pay for her food, and someone else can pull up in a limo and give her flowers and give her gifts, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's still just selfish. It's very selfish. And honestly, one of the reasons why men are coming to the Manosphere. It's a great example of why men are coming here trying to figure this stuff out. Because it's like, how do you deal with a woman, quote unquote, being bored? Like a child. Nigga, what? Nigga, what? But alright, let's get back to Salem.
High engaging content, and the reason why the algorithm kind of spread its seed everywhere. Pause. Point is, we saw a huge boom of this during the panini and in recent years because the algorithm eats this type of content up because it's considered very provocative, controversial, and problematic. The more people got mad at it, the more people would interact with it, thus pushing it further into the algorithm and thus becoming more accessible to accidentally be in the feeds of other young men who do not have mentors, young men who are insecure, young men who...
But watch this though, right? Watch this. Watch how salty I'm about to be. Why do you think those young men don't have mentors, Miss Salem? You think that perhaps maybe they were raised by a single mother because their single mother, maybe she cheated? Maybe she had an emotional affair? You think maybe that might... Nah, that couldn't happen. You think maybe she just got bored? Just got bored? I don't want to be with your dad no more. Nah, I'm good on that. I'm good on being with your dad. I'm good on having this whole marriage thing with this man. So I'm just gonna bring it in. You think that maybe the problem might be that they were never married at all? They were never married. And it was just some dickhead, just some fuckboy, who just gave her the long, deep strokes. She might not even know this nigga's name. Do you know that happens to some kids, so Salem? But, God forbid, we discuss the promiscuity of some of these ladies with some of these jackass males. No. It's internet manosphere content. It's not the shitty father that their mother picked that left them. No. It's the Manosphere. Okay, just so we're clear on that. I just want to make sure we're on the same page here, Salem.
who have no idea what they want to do in their life in the future, young men who are struggling with dating, young men who don't know anything about life other than cars and video games. And this type of content finds them at their lowest and takes advantage of that, luring in these young men and telling them, we have all the answers for you. teaching them women in society are the cause of all the problems that they've been facing in life, which is why now we are seeing a rise in young men being a lot more extremist and more comfortable in saying things online and outside in the real world that are just insanely crazy and just downright evil. This literally causes stagnation to a young man's life, even if this content preaches the opposite, that if you listen to these influencers and random people on social media on how to be a true man, you'll grow as a person and blah blah blah, right? However, this content is directly teaching young men how to be delusional, unempathetic, angry, paranoid, and it stunts them and stops them from trying new things and interacting
I don't know, these are a lot of assertions, but there are no arguments.
With people outside of the internet because they're so paranoid. And this type of content tells young men that the more that they seclude themselves, the more that they ignore the entire world other than themselves.
Well, this is actually a huge clashing of this is problematic because like she's combining multiple different contradictory ideas together. So there's certainly the idea of, say, a gym cell, right? And that is a guy who has just put all of his stat points, all of his time, just working out and only caring about that, without actually even like trying to engage with women at all. Like there's some clips on the internet you might see from time to time who's like, ignore women, get gains, that type of like content. I'm sure maybe some of you guys have seen something like that from time to time. And then she's trying to mix that in with the Myron Gain Fresh and Fit of, yeah, you need to work on yourself, you need to get money, you need to get muscles, and then you can interact with women, and then you can dedicate and understand things on your terms. But those are contradictory. Yes, those are two separate things. You can't put them together because they're not the same people with the same belief structure, right? The only thing that binds them together is that they're men trying to talk about a problem. Or men giving a solution to a problem, rather.
The more that they'll become an alpha, when in reality, it's literally making their mental health and loneliness worse. But God forbid you bring any of this up to them because you'll be labeled as a hater and they about to react like this.
But this is also, this is so nasty to me. It's like they react like, and actually this is not even true. I'm not going to give you the respect that all you get, Salem, are mean people being mean to you because you had a wrong opinion. That's not true, all right? You got 750,000 subscribers, 1,000 comments. Most of these people are going to be sucking you off. Let's not kid ourselves on this one. Stop acting like I can't stand that, bro. They're like, oh, these people, they're going to be so mean and nasty and bitter. It's like, okay, 3 of them. Like the 3 people, maybe like 3 people, you're going to find 3 comments like that. Right? In the sea of everyone glazing you. I don't want to hear it.
Cancelled now? You're lucky you're even talking to me, because I'm a high-value male. Yeah, I am. Okay, females don't deserve rights, it's my opinion. Does anyone in here watch Andrew Tate? No? Okay, then I'll just leave, since everyone wants me to freaking die. This is why men's mental health is...
And by the way, when I say that this demographic gets younger and younger for this type of content, I really mean it, because why they got literal fetuses joining the hustle...
Okay, do you know what the word literal means? Okay, I guess... literal also means figuratively. That's me being nitpicky. I'm sorry.
Hello, my name is Sheikah. 360. You want it fast or slow?
I can't believe that there are people.
Yeah, but that's not Manosphere content though. Like if that, this is nasty. This is actually starting to piss me off. Showing me stupid clips of like black people dating in the white room little thing that they do, and sure, there might be a word for this particular type of content because there's so many examples of it, and then trying to tell me that like the Manosphere is doing, like, nah, like maybe it would be closer to say that hip-hop culture was doing this to young people than the fucking Manosphere. It'd be more accurate to say that like rappers and like drill music, right, and Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion are doing this to these young men, right, than the Manosphere. Like it's much better as an example to say that hip hop culture and like black women objectifying themselves and trying to be all snatched and curvy and sexy, and then willing to display themselves in front of these children, which they are sometimes, and like pool parties and whatnot. By the way, this does happen in some hood parties. That would be closer to the problem. That would make more sense to criticize than the manosphere. This has dick and all to do with men in the manosphere. Nothing, and it's just this nasty concoction of conflating different ideas instead of just discussing men have a tough time having relationships with women. Maybe this might be one of the maybe this might skirt the line of that, because why is this woman even willing to display herself for this boy? That is a problem. That's nothing to do with the manosphere. It's not even an issue people in the manosphere discuss. Maybe they should. Maybe we should expand and talk about it more, because it's an interesting question. But again, what do we have here? Like, the young boy here, right? I don't even know if he has a full understanding of what's going on, right? But this grown ass woman, why is she entertaining this?
I can't believe.
Grown ass woman, why are you entertaining displaying yourself for this child? See, but we can't discuss that. It's the manosphere, that's the problem, okay? It's men who are the issue there, not the woman willing to show herself off for a boy. Okay, all right. Just make sure I understand the rules.
That there are people that would do something like this. It's so sick and twisted.
What happened to teenage boys? It's crazy that there is such a deep talk about how teenage girls have completely lost their childhood and pre-teenhood to the internet. But no one's talking about that also negatively affecting preteen boys and how
that's because no one cares.
They are also losing it to content like this.
Oh yeah, it's content like that. Okay.
In their young brain is cars and women and money are cool. So to see these influencers, TikTokers, and alpha male podcasters have all of this stuff that's considered cool, they're gonna listen to them because they have all the things they've ever wanted. And whatever they say how to get said thing, they're gonna do the same thing. However, the message that they are sending these young men in how to achieve these things is not the best message. It's often message.
Well, my question is then, like, why don't we have this discussion about like hip hop culture and rap music? I guess that might be racist. That might be too racist for Salem. That might be a little too. That's not really, diversity and inclusive. Actually, no. Ironically, it would be inclusive. So it does still beg the question again: why isn't she discussing pornified rap and hip-hop culture with people like Ice Spice literally being pretty and twerking their asses around, and Doja Cat, who originally went from goofy Mimi songs to just kind of talking about sex and jiggling her ass cheeks too? I don't know, maybe that might be a little bit of a problem, but no, it's the manosphere.
Messages that encourage being very unempathetic towards humans, specifically women, being very unnecessarily aggressive, and just encouraging young men to be more extreme. Now, I'm gonna say something. Surprisingly, I actually think it's really cool and good that a lot of this content actually does emphasize that young men should have confidence, have hobbies, teach them to speak up for themselves, and they try to teach them that they matter. However, the way they go about it is in all the wrong ways. How does owning a car that's nice make you automatically a good person?
It doesn't, but it also doesn't matter either, Salem. It doesn't. So, look, I agree that having a nice Bugatti isn't a reflection of your paladin-esque virtue and how you've slayed hordes of the undead, right? But women don't care. They don't care. They don't care. What the car is symbolizing. Dave Chappelle put it best, okay? Men have nice things, not because they like nice things, but because they know women like nice things. The car is the bait, okay? This was all the way back in the 90s, right? Young men have understood this to some degree for quite some time, right? Dave Chappelle put it as a joke, but it's true. And for some reason, we're going to keep pretending that we don't get that. I don't know.
How are role models like this?
I'm going to be honest with you. You're not a 10. You're not a 10.
But he's right.
That doesn't hurt me.
Are you down to revise your answer? We got makeup remover.
And I'm not using those makeup wipes either.
Teaching young men.
Why are we mad at Brian, though? Like, Brian's right. She's not a 10. And it's goofy to walk around with the belief structure that for your quote-unquote self-confidence, you have to lie to yourself and say that you're perfect, while simultaneously having the ability to improve and look better, while simultaneously wearing makeup to hide your quote-unquote flaws. It's delusional. It's you know what? It's prideful more than anything else. It's like having this pride that you have to put on this air that you believe higher of yourself than you do. It is ridiculous. But Brian is not the problem here. Brian's not the issue.
Men to be confident and self-assured. It's not. This content is just teaching men how to push it all the way down and match the aesthetic and play the role of a quote-unquote true male, or the social media influencer hyper-consumeristic version of what a male is supposed to be. Not only that.
Now notice this, Salem. Notice how young ladies will still bend over backwards and let their cheeks get clapped by that facade of a male. You think that might have something to do? No? Okay, my bad. But
this type of content also teaches young men who have not even gotten into any sort of serious relationship to have predetermined resentments against human beings and women. That all humans are out to get you, that all women are going to eventually hurt you, and that everyone except yourself is your enemy. And that is such an extreme way to navigate life no matter who you are.
I don't know if that's actually entirely true, though. I think that, I don't know. I think I can kind of see where there might be some men who have done that. But even then, like a hyper competitive view of the world, I don't know very many content creators off the top of my head that have really fostered that. I think brotherhood and finding good men to be around, and actually being emotionally vulnerable with those men, I've seen more clips and more men talk about that than I've seen them be hyper competitive. To be quite honest with you, I don't know if I can really agree with that.
No, you're actually not the main character. There are over 8.2 billion people on Earth. And that's for a reason. That's because we have to connect with people, be with people, and deal with people. You have to learn how to do that in a balanced way. It literally cuts off your opportunities to be open-minded, to have open-minded conversations, try new things, connect with people you disagree with, which is also a big part of growth and life. At this point, it's exploitation, but a lot of them don't view it as exploitation because how is getting rich? And a lot of women exploitation. It's the fact that this type of content and this type of influencers and stuff and these types of movements constantly create a them versus us kind of narrative, which continues to...
Yeah, and you're telling me that the radical feminist movement that got us here to begin with, that you still subscribe to currently, didn't do that? It's like, so there's something that's kind of off about this. I'm going to be really honest with you. And what's really off about this is the idea that the concept of the patriarchy can exist and toxic masculinity as a concept can exist. And what's even crazier is that young ladies could argue that they would rather be stuck in the forest with a bear than with a man exists, right? And yet, it's the Manosphere content that is creating the us versus them mentality. That's the origin point, my ninja. Not radical feminism from generations ago that has permeated our society continuously. What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you even talking about on this point? That's got to be so dumb. I don't even have the words to describe that.
To feed into the very weird entitlement and ways of thinking that we're seeing now on the internet and in real life, where they're almost detached from reality, because this type of lifestyle is completely detached from reality. I'm gonna say something crazy, don't cancel me. It's actually not normal to live like that. There are men out there who make less, with less cars, with one wife and like a kid in a small house, who is so rich in happiness that these types of men will never even come close to it, no matter how many golden Bugattis they buy. But why listen to that humble guy? They don't have...
Well, where are they though, Salem? What are you talking about? If it were normal, right, quote unquote, that guy existed and that it were easy to find ourselves into this position as men, how did we get here in the first place?
have 12 Bugattis. That guy's a freaking Sigma, okay? Because you see, in the
Okay, yeah, you're stupid. Because Sigma is just the equivalent of an alpha that's just a loner.
Manosphere, it isn't just men versus women. It's also
That's just me being a nerd.
men versus men.
Well, duh. Oh my
There are levels to
Maybe I made a mistake here on this
okay?
one.
And if you're on the
maybe the problem is me. Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I made a mistake thinking that we'd find something that cooks. You know what kind of bothers me, right? So we've got 121,000 views on this, right? And we're getting to this point here where I'm gonna be dead ass with you, bro. She's not really cooking, right? So like, my son is 19. Thank God he thinks all these dudes are a joke. He's living a great life outside touching grass. Why are you here? The fuck are you here for then? What? Mike's got into the whole alpha male manosphere thing. He ended up going to jail for domestic violence. So there's that. What, he pieced you up or something? Maybe that's a bit flippant. I'm sorry. I don't know. I would like more information on what happened here, but I doubt well, maybe I'll get it. Let's see. Well, at least he's your ex. Well, after he pieced her up. But wait a minute. Hold on. So if she picked... I'm not... Alright, let's get back to Salem. No, I'm not going to do it.
bottom, then apparently to them, you might as well be chopped liver. Or the opposite, you should eat liver and be like liver king. What is this? I think the craziest part of all of this is literally everyone to them is an enemy. Everyone's out.
What the fuck? Okay. Oh my jeez.
To get them. Manhood is under attack.
Okay. The enemy would be closer to feminism than anything else. But but seriously, if there's any frustration, it's the liberal agenda, right? It's the feminist agenda. It's, you know, it's not even particularly or technically women. You know what I think is so funny? I'll never forget this. Anita Sarkeesian once said, "In the game of patriarchy, women aren't the opposing team. They're the ball." And you know, and I get her point. Her point was that, like, men aren't fighting with women. Men are using women to battle each other and compete with each other. But the truth of the matter is, the whole thing is folly. The whole thing, the entire thing from go is bullshit. And that is because men aren't a monolith any more than women are a monolith, right? Like, you're having this conceptual battle, right, with the concept, rather than like addressing the experiences and the general problems that people are having. Because even if it is true that every woman is not going to cheat on you, right? And I think that's fair. It is still true that entering that relationship with a woman is far more difficult than it would be for her to date you. And there are more expectations and more ways for you to fail in entering that relationship, right, than it would be for her in the reverse. It's also more true that you have to, as a male, adhere to a standard higher than she has to adhere to. That's just the facts. From that point alone, there's already friction. From that point alone, it's already a difficult time trying to have relationships. We don't even need to factor in the fact, right, that some of these women will pick thugs, street niggas, hood niggas, right? We don't even need to talk about that. We don't even need to talk about, again, how some women get bored. They just get bored. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be here anymore, right? We don't even need to talk about that. The fact remains that having relationships is difficult for sometimes just made up reasons that could be solved very easily. But instead, we're talking about how everyone here is the enemy. Everyone here isn't the enemy. No, that's ridiculous. It's not true. It's that it's difficult to have long-term good relationships with people that care about you in general. It's not that everyone's an enemy. It's not that everyone needs to participate in a Yu-Gi-Oh card battle. It's that when I want to love and care and have compassion for someone, sometimes that person fights me. Sometimes some relationships with some ladies is they don't like being treated well, right? You treat them well and they get mad at you because you treat them well. And they're like, "Why are you nice to me?" And you're like, "What? What do you mean, why am I nice to you? What do you mean?" And they're like, "Why? Like, huh? You're going to hurt me eventually?" And I'm like, I mean, no, it's not. I'm not going to try to. It doesn't matter, right? So then you have situations like that, and it's complicated almost for nothing. It's almost for nothing. It's not that everyone's radicalized to be adversaries because of the manosphere. It's that radical feminism from Go already created that standard, and then they just picked it up. And even then, they didn't even fully pick it up. But that would have been the origin point.
Their money's under attack. Sorry, their non-existent money is under attack, and their non-existent relationships with women are also under attack. It has caused so much of an extreme that young men in this corner of the internet will make up scenarios in their minds that are literally not prevalent to them whatsoever and use that as a basis to argue against.
Oh yeah, because okay. Now in TikTok, ladies literally create a psychological profile, right? Like a psychological profile, okay, of some dude being a narcissist. They don't even know what the word actually means. They don't even know what the word actually means. And they'll do a whole backlog of their relationship, of the quote unquote narcissistic abuse that they've experienced. That just isn't even true. This just isn't even accurate to what happened. So it's like, it's not a manosphere. That, even if that does, let's argue that it does happen. There's the quote unquote stolen valor of, like, you read a story on Reddit of someone being cheated on and now you're scared. Well, then you've got the ladies who literally just misdiagnose or diagnose a male that ended up cheating on them as a malignant narcissist. It's like, there's a lot of this stuff going on in the internet. And again, I actually think it's probably more of a problem with algorithms of sensationalism than it is that people just want to hate each other. Because I think that the algorithm and the engagement puts this information in front of you more often than it would put anything good in front of you. And I think that might be a little closer to that particular issue. But, talking about the manosphere, these guys are just being mad and just making stuff up. I'm gonna be honest with you, that's a human thing, number one. But I still see more ladies diagnosing a nigga as a narcissist than I see young men just making up a problem. They don't make it up. It's more someone else experienced something, and so they used it as a reason why they don't want to go through it. Which, to be fair, is pretty reasonable. I mean, is it a little? I mean, I guess it could be a little too paranoid, but it's actually reasonable to see someone else experience something bad, and then you say, "Yeah, I don't want to go through that." That's actually that's more intelligent than anything.
Against women, they'll be like, what about my money? She just wants me for my money. And then you ask them where they work at, and they're like, Applebee's. So men don't have a disadvantage in the world. Explain to me why it's legal for my wife to take all my belongings after a divorce. And then someone will be like, well, are you even married? And they'll be like, no. Then this is why women don't want to date you guys anymore. And that's not me trying to make.
Wait, hold on, bro. Hold on, bro. Hold on, bro. We're gonna have to rewind that one, bro. Let me return that to zero, like Giorno.
My belongings after a divorce. In the
see if I can understand what that point was.
You ask them where they work at, and they're like, Applebee's. So men don't have a disadvantage in the world. Explain to me why it's legal for my wife to take all my belongings after a divorce. And then someone will be like, well, are you even married? And they'll be like, no. Then this is.
But that's just true. Hold on, bro. I'm about to lose my mind. Okay. So, if the conversation is, it is possible for a woman to do this, and your response is, you're not married, then wouldn't the next response be, ergo why I'm not married? Wouldn't that be the full conversation? An ex-wife can do this, and then Salem says, but you're not married. And there's yes, that would be why. that would logically follow why I'm not. What kind of stupid? How dumb was that? Hold on, bro. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not being fair to say.
They want to date for divorce, and it's the world money. And then you ask them where they work at, and they're like, Applebee's. So men.
So the young man works at Applebee's.
Don't have a disadvantage in the world. Explain to me why it's legal for my.
And so here, what she's taking the role of the male asking the question, right? The rhetorical question of how are men not disadvantaged, right?
Wife to take all my belongings after a divorce.
And so the man makes the point that if he were to be married and his wife should wish to leave, that she could eject him from his house. And then she could sue for custody of children, right? And so Salem then says,
and then someone will be like, well, are you even married?
And so his response
be
is,
like, no.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be why he's not married? Wouldn't that logically follow? I am not married because bad thing could happen to me. Now, again, if you want to argue, right, that marriage can be more complex than that, then by all means. But to pretend that wanting to avoid a bad thing happening to you is radical, that's just dumb. I don't even have the words for that one.
Then this is why women don't want to date you guys anymore.
So let me get this one straight. The reason why women don't want to date men anymore is because men are scared that the woman can hurt them, and so the women's feelings are hurt because the dude think that maybe that they could be hurt by them. What the fuck? What the fuck? So okay. So it's not unreasonable expectations. Okay? It's not that women think that most men are unattractive to begin with. No. It's not that a lot of women think men don't make enough money for them. No. It's not that women are shallow and look for problems to disregard men, a la the ick. They'll just see a dude and be like, ugh, I got the ick from him. Ugh, he tripped over his feet. I got the ick. That bullshit they love to do. It's not that. Women don't want to date men anymore because men are terrified that women can take advantage of them and then take their stuff. So women say, oh, so you think I'm going to take advantage of you and take your stuff? I don't want to be with you anymore. You know what? I guess that's it, Salem. I guess you cracked the code, motherfucker. We don't need the Manosphere anymore. We don't need the Manosphere anymore.
That's not me trying to make a joke or be dramatic or anything. Literally, scientifically speaking, statistically speaking, not only are people lonelier than ever, but Gen Z and younger men and women are refusing to date each other. But it is for a reason. But why is this happening? Well, I'm glad you...
Okay, so it looks like Salem's finally gonna address the elephant in the room. Maybe it's a good thing we didn't turn the stream off. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it was a good idea. I'm going to read a comment. I saw someone message me. He says, Seg says, I don't think this is the kind of person you can ask to imagine how she'd feel if she didn't eat breakfast. I'm not Mimi. I think she literally could not grasp that. Like a hypothetical. I'll be honest with you. Maybe she can't. She might be one of the few. One of the shameful.
Discussion topic number 2. From radicalized to rejected. How the radicalization of young men online is feeding the great dating war. There is one common enemy of the type of men who indulge in this type of conversation and this type of paranoia that everything in their life is being under attack, even though, again, no. But unfortunately...
Oh, just no. Just no. I'm not going to give you a logical argument as to how that's not the case. I'm just going to say no. Okay.
This type of thinking has become so common in a lot of young men, especially in Gen Z, that it's a literal fact, like an actual oh, hey Google, set a timer for 15 minutes. Gen Z is the most politically divided generation when it comes to sexes. So young men are becoming a lot more right-leaning, more conservative, and consuming more of this type of content. Whereas young Gen Z women are actually a lot more left-leaning and actually more feminist, which is actually...
Well, you know what's interesting about that graph? Hold on.
Actually a lot, and consuming more of this and are becoming a...
So the goofy part about this actually, right, is that, let's see. So now I don't know the sample size, right? The sample size could be too small, could be just right. I don't know. But what's kind of interesting about this is men did not become more conservative. Women became more liberal. Now, ironically, right? If we go back here in 2020, let's analyze this graph, right? Let's actually do some analysis here. So, if we look at the peak, right? So the graph is trying to reflect the discrepancy between men and women being liberal and being conservative, right? And so what we have here is that around 2020, women were very, very, very liberal. Women actually kind of shrunk down a little bit, and they became a little less liberal. But the males here didn't actually become more conservative, right? Because here it looks like it peaked a little bit, and then it went back down. So it's not more. And in fact, this is actually, ironically enough, what you really see is that women are becoming more liberal, but the males are actually pretty, I wouldn't say pretty, right? Because it looks like they're pretty consistently conservative. Like, this isn't the most consistent line. Well, actually, it kind of is, right? Because if you were to just draw a line here, right, it's not deviating too much. There's a deviation here, I guess, around, you'd say 2016, 2017, where it kind of closes the gap a little bit. And then they become a little bit conservative again, and it goes down, and then it goes up a little bit, but then it's going down. The real problem is that women are just very liberal. It's not even that men are becoming more conservative. Just based on this. Now again, I don't know the sample size. I don't know the full methodology of how they even got all of this. But it says that the partisan gap almost doubled. That's because women became more liberal. It doesn't have anything to do with men becoming more conservative. It looked like they just kind of stayed the same. I mean, here's the thing. I'm not going to say stayed the same literally, but it's pretty consistent. I mean, you had a little bit of a deviation here in 2016, but women, on the other hand, that's a pretty exponential growth right there. Like, that's just going up. This is kind of staying consistent. Okay.
A lot more right-leaning, more conservative, and consuming more of the...
But what if right-leaning and conservative is just relative, though? What if we look at this philosophically, in that they only believe that males have become more right-leaning and conservative only because women have become more liberal? I don't know.
Type of content, whereas young Gen Z women are actually a lot more left-leaning and actually more feminist, which is actually extremely interesting and also explains a lot. It especially explains why there's so much tension in our generation, why we see so many men our age who consume this type of content and think the way that they think, but it also perfectly explains why dating is so now. Well, for you guys, not for me. Thankfully, I got married a long time ago, so shout out to my husband for saving me from being in the dating pool right now, because if it wasn't for him, y'all, I would just be a crazy cat lady for real. And I know I'm not the only woman who shares that sentiment. And it's not because men these days aren't attractive or self-motivated or anything like that. But it's because of this division, this really crazy division where people can't even get along on the bare minimum anymore.
Yeah, imagine if a social ideology was created that said men hate you from go, and that there's this patriarchal conglomerate of men that really hate you and they wish for nothing more than your suffering. Imagine if there was some political philosophy or ideology like that would have definitely colored the minds and opinions of young ladies. I can only imagine how that could hurt the relationship between men and women. But you know, I'm just a writer and a theory crafter. I don't know nothing.
everything is a lot more extreme because of young men becoming more radicalized.
Oh, because of young men okay.
And even people's mothers noticing that change within young men coming out to share.
But the thing, you know what's interesting? What might actually be closer to the truth isn't that young men became more radicalized. I think that feminists or a lot of mainstream people are pretty liberal, just kind of just on the front end, right? What probably really happened is that a lot of young men, thanks to the Manosphere, I would say, I actually think the Manosphere was good in this regard. I think there's some problems, but this is one of the best things that the Manosphere has done. Particularly, I think Kevin Samuels definitely helped with this, and that is it disseminated the idea itself to the masses, where some normie men will just tap onto it, just on TikTok randomly, right? And then you don't have to go through the whole rabbit hole of being an MRA or being a MGTOW, or you don't have to sit through a Kevin Samuels or an old Kevin Samuels stream, or you don't have to listen to Rollo Tomasi or any of those guys, right? You don't have to listen to any of that, but you can just tap on just a clip from Fresh and Fit, and you can just think, well, why is it that women get so much child support? Why do women get more custody? And you just start thinking, why do I have to pay for the first date when she just kind of showed up 2 hours late? And so a resistance and a thought process generates from that, and you start thinking to yourself, this kind of sucks, doesn't it? This isn't fair. This isn't balanced. This isn't reasonable. And you don't have to go deep into the manosphere to say, hey, there's kind of something a little bit off about the fact that you are a quote-unquote feminist, but you are distasteful of the idea of having to pay for your food, not even half the bill, but you pay for your food and I pay for my food. And as a feminist that has a job and is strong and independent, that is discharitable from me, if that's a word, or it's unchivalrous of me. But if you do it, then there's nothing wrong. Like, I don't get that. And so I think that a lot of normie men are having that thought, and they're like, that doesn't make any sense. And that resistance is probably the quote-unquote radicalization that I think she's noticing. Because I think a lot of men over the years have always just kind of listened to women, always just kind of folded into being what women want, doing what women say, kind of just in fact, let's go one step deeper. Even the clips that Salem here showed us is still just men trying to be what women want. The Bugatti, the money, the social status is still just an attempt to just be the extreme version of what women want. That's all it is. And I find it interesting that like Salem never stops and is like, oh wait, they're doing this so they can get to women. No, they're doing this because I don't even know if she even concluded why these niggas are doing it. She's just saying that they're doing it. I don't know. It's kind of weird that we've made it this far, but
their stories. I've actually seen a really huge shift on social media of women of all ages coming out and saying how they miss who their boyfriends and husbands used to be before Manosphere content.
Well, if their husband or boyfriend used to be a simp and he used to just do everything he could to make her happy, and then he stopped and he was like, but wait a minute, she's really not doing anything to make me happy, and she's kind of a real jerk. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure they would miss it if he just stopped doing that.
How they used to be sweet, but then all of a sudden started to become a lot more extremist and a lot more rude and would say stuff that was kind of sus, you know? And honestly, that's always really sad to see. No matter if you're a man or a woman, it never feels good to see someone that you've known for a really long time just make a shift basically overnight and see them be so easily swayed to change just because of something they saw on the internet. Like women sharing their stories about how Andrew Tate ruined my marriage. And of course,
I'm be dead ass. If Andrew Tate ruined your marriage, you were a crappy wife on some real nigga type shit. I'm just gonna be that guy. I'm just gonna say it. You guys don't have to say it. I will say it. I'll say it for all of us. If Andrew Tate put a wedge between you and your husband, you sucked. You were a bad wife. You were trash. You were garbage. Subpar. You were not good at that whole wife thing. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm just gonna put it out there, okay? I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm just gonna tell you, okay? Just telling you. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
Of course, a lot of men who are, radicalized in this movement look at that and be like, you know what, brother? That's a win for us. That's a win for us, brother. You said no to that slut. That's what you gotta do, brother. Now you gotta focus on getting you a gold Bugatti. That's how you're truly gonna win, brother. Like, I don't get it. Do y'all want to be in a relationship or not?
Well, no, stupid. That's what MGTOW is about, you muppet. Some of these young men don't. Like, you can't get this far. Okay, so first of all, men are not a monolith. Some men don't want to be in relationships. You stupid idiot. This is something I keep noticing about some of these feminists get to this reality, and they don't stop and say, hold on, wait a minute. Some of these people are just different people. Instead, they're like, well, do you guys even want to date us? Well, some of these niggas don't. No, I am not among them. I still want to be with a woman, right? I'm not among these guys. But let's not pretend that they don't exist, that they're not real. They're not a contradiction. Some of them legitimately do not want to have relationships with women. And so the Manosphere is this huge conglomerate of multiple different ideas that are combined and strung together with, what do we do about women? What do we do? And there's competing different ideas and thoughts behind that. But nigga, we're not all the same.
Because one of the fears that a lot of this content target in men is that they're gonna die alone, that dating is horrible. But then when they do get a girlfriend, this type of content still tells these young men that it's not good enough and that you need to be more alpha, even though they already have a relationship.
Well, that's kind of the problem, though. I think one of the biggest issues in general, I think a lot of people don't come to terms with, is the fact that being in a relationship in and of itself doesn't even mean that you'll be happy. Because sometimes, like what we just read earlier, some of you guys might have came into the chat later, but we were reading a Reddit post where this woman says that she was bored, just bored in her relationship, and then she says, my husband still has a good physique, my husband, doesn't clean as much as I want him to. He still cleans, but not as much as I want him to clean. And she's like, I'm bored. I just know everything about him. That's what she said. That was her post, right? And so it's like, you can be in a relationship and it can be a bad, and now I'm making a further point. I don't think that one was having a bad relationship. I think that one was ungrateful. So moving forward to a different point, you can have a bad relationship. You can be abused in a relationship. So just being in a relationship, if you're a man and you're just with a woman, that doesn't mean it's a good relationship at all. It doesn't mean that you're happy. Doesn't mean that you've done anything successful. It could just mean that you're just living with your greatest adversary, which very many people will make their wife or spouse out to be their greatest opponent ever. So it's got to be something deeper than just we're in a relationship. It has to be, okay, is this a good relationship? Do we treat each other well? Do we enjoy each other's time? You know what I'm saying? And to be honest with you, I think being bored in a relationship is great. You want to know why? I'll tell you why. Because if you're bored, that means you have no fucking problems. If you're bored, that means you have no problems. All you have to do is go to work and come home, eat some food, and then just snuggle with the motherfucker. That's it. You gotta worry about them cheating. You gotta worry about a baby mama, baby daddy. You don't have to worry about their extreme, random, emotional outbursts. You don't have to worry about them having BPD. You don't have to worry about him being a narcissist. You don't have to worry about none of that. It's over. If you're bored in your relationship, that means you don't have problems. You're good to go. You just don't like, and even then, it's calm, it's comfortable, it's peaceful. I don't understand how they don't respect peace. I want to be bored. I just come home. Hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm fine. You just keep it pushing. Instead of you come home. So what? Why didn't you come home on time? What do you mean? Well, you're like 5 minutes late. Like, baby, there was traffic. Oh, so traffic makes you drive slower? Yes. I mean, like, yes. Right. You know what I mean? You're like, why are you making a problem? Why are you fighting with me, man? It doesn't have to be this way. But the point that I'm making is that, like, just being in a relationship doesn't mean that it's a happy relationship or a good relationship, right? It just means you're with somebody, and that person could be really terrible. They could be a really bad person to be with, you know? So you always have to measure everything with the character and the intent of the individual that you're with.
So it's like, at this point, do y'all like women? Yes or no? Yes or
Look, I'll answer your question, Salem. Absolutely, right? I'm not even gonna cap, bro. I'm not gonna cap, bro. I'm not even gonna BS. Listen, I love women, okay? All right? The reason why I even started playing League of Legends, right, was because of Shyvana. And Shyvana is a combination of my two favorite things. She was a dragon, and she was a woman. No, but seriously, I actually, here's the thing. I just am honest, and I just like honor and integrity and goodness more than I like women. And because I like them more than I like women, I'm going to be honest and say, some of you guys suck. And it has nothing to do with whether you like women or don't like women. Some of you guys suck. You're terrible people to be in relationships with. It doesn't matter if I do like you. You can still be a terrible person to be in a relationship with. There have been plenty of times where I loved a woman. I loved her. I just was like, damn, bro. I just wish we could just make a whole life together. And she was a bad relationship partner. She was. I'll give you an example of one woman. She is extremely unreliable, right? Extremely unreliable. You know, I say I'll try to give her money for this thing, right? She says I'll pay you back, right? We're in a relationship, but so I thought I could trust her, but you know, very unreliable. Wouldn't pay me back for weeks on end. And then she'll finally like pay me back. And then sometimes, because you know I cared about her, sometimes I didn't really care. It didn't really matter. But the problem is that she would say it. She would say that she would pay me back, but she would never pay me back, right? And so again, you know, I loved her. I cared about her, right? You know what I mean? I didn't care because I'm not rich or anything, but I had the disposable income, right? But the fact remains is that she set up an expectation. She said she was going to do something, and she didn't do it. It doesn't matter how much I like her. She's not trustworthy. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how pretty she is. She's not trustworthy. Does not matter. Doesn't matter if she is super sweet, she's super kind, she says all nice things. When she says she's going to do something, she does not do it. No, I'm not, okay, not 100%. But there's always that, like 70% of the time, it's not getting done. That's a problem. That's a character flaw. That's a character issue. Can't really have a long-term relationship with someone like that. And again, not because she's a bad person, but she's an unreliable person. So hopefully, guys, you get what I'm saying. Like the idea that like you criticizing the bad things that women do in relationships then means that you don't like them is ridiculous. It's not fair. Some women do crappy things in relationships. The problem, right, in contrast, and like here's the thing. Like there are definitely some dudes where I do think they just don't like women. Like for example, there's the Twitter not space, that's inaccurate. The Twitter account women taking L's, right? And bruh man, he really doesn't like women. Right, like he'll find things that are just really sad, and it's like the woman is like she kind of really needs help, and he'll just post it and make fun of her. Now I think that what happened was, because here's the thing, I think originally it was satirizing how lots of women would like post this stuff on the internet, and it just was goofy. Like, why are you saying this? But as time went on, he just started posting anything disparaging or anything bad about women, and it's like, yeah, my guy, I think that she needs help, nigga. I don't think that she's trying to get attention. I think she really needs a motherfucker to help her out. And so it's like, yeah, sure, there are some accounts who are like that 110%. But like the whole manosphere, no. It's like some women do crappy things and they're crappy people, you know, and conversations and discussions need to be had about these crappy people doing crappy, terrible things.
Or no, because at this point y'all might as well date each other, because
I would assume that you would.
So what's with this gay bullshit, bro? What's with this gay? You think that the reason, if, okay, so this is something else. I wanted to make a video about this. I hate the idea, I hate that women like to suggest that if you are annoyed with them, it means, or that it means that you should be gay. That it means that you should be with men. And it's like, you dumb bitch, I have a problem with you because I'm trying to date you. You stupid idiot. You stupid dumb son of a bitch. If I was gay, I wouldn't have a problem with you. You guys ever notice how women have gay best friends? How does that work? How does that work? How do you have a gay best friend that likes you, that hangs out with you all the time, that validates you all the time? Stupid, dummy, dumbass. And you guys are right. It is deflection, right? It is a way to dismiss whatever is being said. But I just want to call it out because it's the worst. It's the worst deflection. When you go into reality, women have gay best friends. How? So you think that not liking you means the man's gay, but you have a gay best friend? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Make it make sense, bro. It's goofy. I hate that, bro. It's like the reason why there's a frustration with having relationships with women is because you tried to have relationships with women. And I know that just sounds obvious because it is obvious.
We're gay.
Female vaginas are disgusting.
Female vaginas are disgusting. Female vaginas are disgusting.
You know, here's the thing. I'm not gonna fully defend that opinion, but I will say this. Technically speaking, the entire act of sex is disgusting, right? But what happens is that when you are in heat, we'll say it like that. No, when you're horny, what happens is the part of your brain that typically feels disgust is temporarily turned off, right? And it's that temporary turning off of your brain, or of your disgust factor, which allows you to engage and enjoy sex to begin with, right? I learned this from Louise Perry. There's a lot of interesting things that you realize when you get that one fact. But to go on with what Myron is saying here, one, I think Myron was being inflammatory. I think he's just being a jackass because he's probably seen that chick's, I forget her fucking name, but she's an asshole in her own right. That's kind of the thing. Like she's a jackass in her own right. She thinks that if she's bubbly, that we're not gonna peep the fact that she kind of is a jerk, but whatever. But anyway, I'm pretty sure he's being inflammatory there. But it's like, if you think that a vagina looks weird, you're really not. It's really not off base. In the same way, if a woman thinks that a penis looks weird, that's actually not off base, right? You can still be attracted to every other element of a person, and considering that mostly the parts are going to be connected, and you're not going to be like staring at them, like, and looking at them the whole time. Again, I'm not going to fully defend Myron's point because I don't think vaginas are disgusting. I like them. Like, and I'm not saying that like, oh me man, me like woman, but like I legitimately I like them, so I'm not going to fully defend that. But to be fair, if you do think it's disgusting, there actually isn't anything wrong with you. That's not the wrong take at all. Yeah, there's actually. And then that fork says Myron tried to humble a 9 out of 10. I mean, essentially, like, Myron is always on that time. Like, Myron has no grace. Myron has no decorum when it comes to women. You can tell, and I gotta talk about this, man. I keep on telling you niggas I'm gonna make these videos, and I know I don't make lots of it. Listen, I'm gonna get into it. I promise you. I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna make lots of videos. I promise you. They're going to be coming out. But there is a video that I need to make about Myron, because I actually think Myron is quite the tragedy. I think that Myron is one of the best examples of how feminism and trying to date women can just truly turn a man into a monster. And I think he really is one of the best examples of that, because it didn't have to be that way. You can tell in Myron's heart there was a man that was loving and kind there, and it just got shit on, and it just got shit on, and now he's this bitter successful dude that just doesn't like women, and honestly, part of that really is because someone hurt him, and women dismiss men based off that. They love to do that. Who hurt you? Who hurt you? And they love to do that. Like, oh, your feelings are just hurt. But it's like, yeah, if you dated a narcissist, see, and that's what's crazy. That's what's crazy. Rules for me, but not for thee. If I date a narcissist and I then judge every man based off of literally the 1% of the population, right? I'm well within my rights to do that because I am paranoid and I am traumatized. But if you were hurt by a woman, if you got your feelings hurt by, you got your feelings hurt by a woman who hurt you. Oh, you got your feeling, you got cheated on. She cheated on you. Oh, baby. Oh, she cucked you. Oh, baby. She had sex with your best friend and then had his baby and then made you raise him for 3 years. Oh, poor baby. Oh, you just hate. Why do you hate women? You should just be gay. You should just be gay. Just be gay. You got cocked. Too bad. Just be a better partner. That's what you get, right? And again, I want to be clear. I'm not saying that all women are like this. I'll never say that because I don't think it's true. But it is true that there are terrible relationship partners out there. And some of these men have encountered these terrible women. And we need to be able to discuss some of these women who suck. Now, again, nuance is extremely important. But we got to at least be able to come to the table. We got to at least be able to come to the table. You know what I'm saying?
Homosexual?
Some point. Huh?
Are you homosexual?
Girls do you know actually have hobbies?
This might be the most sex.
Well, that's an interesting question. I guess I could go down a whole rabbit hole of like this one girl I know who she just doesn't do anything. She just doesn't do. I keep asking. She just doesn't do anything. Well, she's depressed, so I guess that answers that.
This thing I'll ever say.
Maybe that's why she's depressed, though. But whatever. Yeah.
But do girls have hobbies?
Huh?
That was the most chronically online thing I've ever heard. Some of these dudes really think that when we females go home, we power down and just sit in the dark like a robot. And
well, you know, I think Salem feels that way because Salem does have hobbies, and Salem's never dated a woman. But there's plenty of times, and there's plenty of examples, and again, not all, because it's obviously not all of them. There's definitely women I've tried to date that have had hobbies, but there's also women I'll ask them what they do, and they say I just was watching Netflix, and they just come home and they just watch TV. And to be quite honest with you, that's actually a lot of Americans. That was the whole 50s thing, I think. Like going to turn your TV on, sit down, watch TV, and that was just that. There's lots of people who do that. So, I mean, I think that there is something kind of odd about the fact that, like, there's a lot of women, they don't really, how do you say, they don't really invest in, like, let's say, like, sports, like golf, or, like, lacrosse, and even then, some of them do, but, like, overwhelmingly, right? They don't really, like, the hobbies that women have, they aren't really like as active as like male hobbies, right? But they exist. They do. Like for example, there's this one lady I met. She would crochet. So which is interesting because my mom used to crochet. So they do, right? But some of them, you'll ask them what they do, and they just be like nothing. You know, you'll ask them like, "What are you doing right now?" Netflix. Hey, have you heard this song? No. Hey, you want to listen to this music? No. They're out there, you know. I think there's some Stacy tier ladies that are like really pretty, and they never really had to sit there and just like think abstractly or like think about anything because they're always being emotionally stimulated by everyone that's giving them attention, and so they become like a really hollow person. But they're really pretty, so lots of people are always like emotionally stimulating them, and they're responding to the stimulation. But they themselves kind of suck. They're kind of like not fun people to be around if you were just you and that girl. Some people are like that. Some ladies are like that. So it's not totally unfounded. It's not really fair to like make it general but it's also not fair to understand that there's a basis. It's like, I wouldn't go so far as to say it's a stereotype, but like there's a conversation to be had, and much that seems to be the case here is that like there's a world where we can Salem's got this hour-long fucking video of just like these clips and these assertions, but like you can actually sit down and discuss these topics thoroughly and try to come to a better conclusion than the dumbassery that is, oh, let me play this clip.
Then when it's the next day, we wake up and we're like, oh, time to cheat on Instagram and get a BBL.
Huh?
But in the manosphere world, in this corner of the internet, this is rational thinking. This is logical mastermind type of thinking. To the corner of the internet, this
maturing is realizing every girl is going to cheat if the right guy asks. No, but also I can see why you'd say that. I think that if you start with the understanding that a lot of women are willing to rule break for men that they're physically attracted to, then yeah, I wouldn't say that that's maturing, because that kind of assumes that that's kind of a part of just life. I don't think that's a part of life. I think that's the reality of modernity in our current situation. I think it is a little bit more complex than that. A little bit more complex than that. I think that damn, see, this is what I hate. Like, we keep on getting at these clips and it's like, well, we can actually talk about this, but instead it's like, no, men are bad people.
This is rational.
No, the manosphere. No, okay, fine. The manosphere are full of bad people who want to radicalize you.
Rational thinking. This is logical mastermind type of thinking to them. But this just goes to show how ignorant they really are of females in general and how extreme they perceive them through a very chronically online lens. Or some men will say, all women have OFs. It'll just be a woman like just sharing her opinion or giving a thought piece, and then someone will comment, OF detected, opinion rejected.
Electric chair.
Wait a minute, nah, bro, but that's a dumbass point, Salem. I was just on Twitter this morning. I scrolled down and there's this post where this one woman is like, now I understand that men kind of have feelings a little bit, something like that. And then you just scroll down and one of the replies was a girl with the OnlyFans. And it's rampant on Twitter. You can look at clips about literally monster trucks flipping, and then some chick will say, well, you can flip me on my OnlyFans. They'll legit say that. So I think the thing is, what's kind of interesting, I think this could be its own analysis too, is that with OnlyFans is so interesting insofar as it's taken a lot of women who otherwise would have never touched exhibitionism or getting naked or doing sexual stuff on the internet, and it's really given them an anonymous outlook, and I'm sorry, an anonymous outlet to make that attempt. And it probably never should have existed. I think it kind of does go to show you just like how easy it is for women to fold back on their bodies. But again, I guess that's an analysis for another time, really.
And this is because they live in a world that is full of extremes. They can't look at a woman without thinking that they're boring, bland, and that their only purpose is to either create an OF or be theirs. Like, that's super detached from reality. Not every
sure.
woman is an Instagram baddie LA stereotype. And even if they are, who cares? If you don't like those type of women, then just don't date them and find some.
Well, they don't have the option, stupid. They don't have the choice. That's part of the lamentation. It isn't even just a frustration that like all these women are these LA thought evil bodies. You don't even get a chance to talk to them. You try to approach them and they're like, They're like, ugh. They might in LA, they might legit like ignore you into your face. That's how arrogant some of those bitches are. That's what's crazy.
Some other person, the same way men hate when women say all men are the same. They are literally giving the same exact energy by.
But yeah, Salem. So you'll notice the tit for tat is trash and terrible and bad, and maybe we shouldn't participate in a tit for tat. Okay, fair enough. If that was the point you were making, Is that the point you're making, Salem? Let's find out.
Assuming all women are the same, which to them are boring hoes who only know 3 things: charge their phone, eat hot chip, and lie. This is what the internet does to your brain, by the way, when you spend too much.
But that's actually not even the issue, though, right? Especially not with the Manosphere content. The issue isn't that women are boring. Like, she really doesn't know what she's talking about. It's kind of sad. Or maybe we got 30 minutes here. Maybe she gets to it. I don't know. We're definitely not going to get through all of this. We can't get through all of this. Wait, hold on. She brings up, hey, is that my man, Andrew Wilson? That's crazy. I'll have to find out what she says about this off stream, because we can't get through all of this today. I'm sorry, guys. I know you wanted to get through the other 30 minutes. I'm so sorry. No, I'm kidding. I have to go. I actually do have to leave in about 10 or so minutes to get my niece, so that's why I will be dropping off in a little bit. So we'll watch a little bit more. Actually, you know what? Screw it. Let's just jump ahead.
Whatever. But just because another man wants to live in a humble home with a nice marriage and maybe, I don't know, be childless, that doesn't make him any less of a man, and it doesn't make his happiness or fulfillment any less valid. And who knows, maybe he's even happier than you. And when they are happier with the little that they have compared to these alpha males get super triggered. I'm going to show you guys an example of what I just said. Is this clip perfectly?
Wes gets super triggered. Like Wes steroid rage having jackassery scam artist bullshit versus the Chad Andrew Wilson. Yeah,
encapsulates two
like he's a
types of
shitty
men.
person.
The first man being the manosphere.
But wait a minute, hold on. But wait, hold on. Wait a minute. This is extremely problematic. Okay? I'm gonna adopt their language. I'm gonna adopt their language, right? This is extremely problematic. And the problematic aspect is everyone cooked and lambasted Wes for doing this. Even I'm gonna cook Wes. I'm gonna make a video cooking Wes, right? Everyone cooked him for this. They cooked him so bad it went mainstream. He got cooked so bad. No one agreed with him. I don't even think the people on stage who are red pillars agreed with him. So they're going to use the dude that everyone lambasted as an example of the people that the Manosphere young men look up to. When it was the Manosphere who cooked him first. We cooked him first, and then everyone else joined cooking him. It was only his fan, and I think even some of his fans cooked him. He got roasted. What are we doing? Why are we out of touch?
Social media hustler type of guy. And the second is a real man who's actually touched grass.
How do you define success?
My definition of success is across the board. If you're not ripped, if you're not rich, if you ain't rare, if you don't stand out, if you ain't across the board successful, it doesn't mean f***ing shit to me. You better have a bad bitch. You better be ripped. You better f***ing be rolling some sick shit. That's what I like.
Alright, so y'all just heard the Manosphere Alpha describe to you what success.
The Manosphere Alpha that we all cooked, that we all lambasted, that we all said was out of his mind.
Successes, which truly just sounds like video game fantasy little boys version of success. Now let's listen to someone who actually lives in reality's version of success.
My definition of success is having a family. True wealth is a rejection of materialism. As Christ said himself, what good does it benefit a man to gain the entire world at the cost of his soul? And it's to achieve something greater.
Well, to gain the whole world. Whatever, I don't care. I'm not going to correct him.
Does
Andrew's cool.
he have money?
No.
Do you have money?
No.
Bruh, the Alpha Manosphere bro couldn't even let the other guy finish his sentence because for some reason this guy denouncing materialistic possessions equates to happiness.
But here's what's also goofier still, right?
Triggered the hell out of this bald ass.
No, I'm not one of these rich.
Listen, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 other people who don't agree with this nigga and aren't riding for this nigga. But we're gonna say he's the representative. Okay, all right.
Guys, I don't have a Bugatti. I don't have a Lambo. I
just really have to know, like, how much money you got?
If you look at these studies done on this, it does not.
I don't fit no fucking studies.
It does not hugely improve a person's life.
Are you proud of who the
bro,
you are?
Why
well,
don't
look
you
at,
even
are
let
you
me
proud?
glitz?
If you look in the mirror, would you guys say this motherfucker's proud of who the he is? That's a bag of trash, dude.
Lock that bitch up. Lock it up.
Get your ass beat in front of
You think
everybody.
that's better? You think that that's better?
Let's let him give his definition of success.
The successful mantra of a man who tells you he's reformed from prison. Understand why they might have gone there to begin with.
Bruh, it's funny because he actually did go to prison.
Damn it!
Well, that was
still
why
whining.
he said
Stop
that.
whining
That
and
is
just
a
make an
product.
argument.
Dude, I'll smack your fat ass.
So you're gonna attack?
You're
You're gonna attack me?
all right. Men don't have. We can agree on that. Physically,
Men usually have hair. We can agree on that too.
Do any of you guys really hang out with these guys?
This is not an argument.
Like, Jesus Christ.
There's some. Go ahead, man.
The whole crowd says, "Yeah, we'd hang out with them."
Different guys on the
this
panel.
is why most people don't invite me places.
Guys. Different guys on the
This
panel.
is why most people don't invite me places.
This is why most people don't invite me places.
Did I lie? Did I lie? Did I fucking lie?
What we learned.
You did lie. Now, I guess that's probably the best place to stop. All right, so I will say this, team, guys, my friends who have actually made it to this part of the live stream. Well, it's time for so long. But I'm sure there's time for just one more song. Thanks for doing your part. You sure are smart. You know, with me and YouTube. No, that's trash, my bad. Alright, but listen, anyway, guys. I have to, I gotta bring it in for now. Don't worry. Gonna have a new video coming out pretty soon. It's gonna be the second part of the Maggie thing I should have done a minute ago. And then we're gonna have more videos coming out faster than that. Don't worry. It's coming. It's coming. Right? I want to appreciate everyone that, took time out your day to listen to me, right? You know, hopefully you guys got something out of this live stream. That's my hope. I think I said some pretty good stuff that might be interesting to think about, even though Salem is a jackass. You know, I'll be fair. Salem, she's a woman. I don't know if that's worse or better, but anyway, thank you guys for tuning in, listening to me. I seriously, I appreciate it. And you guys have yourselves a great rest of the day. I'm going to say